welcome you to Wednesday afternoon baseball on Spectrum Sportsnet LA, brought to you by your SoCal Land Rover retailers. Clayton Kershaw started this homestand against Washington, and he'll finish it against Miami as the Dodgers try to take 2 of 3 from the Marlins. And we say welcome inside. Joe Davis, Nomar Garciaparra, Alana Rizzo joins us in a moment. A lot of the numbers are right where you expect from Kershaw. The wins and losses so far not indicative of the way he's pitched.
Well, the reason being is the fact of the run support that Clayton Kershaw is averaging just 3 runs over his starts. And if you look at where that ranks amongst 95 qualifying starters this year, he ranks 77. So the key is really to give him some run support. Although his last outing, he gave up 9 hits and 4 runs. That's because they were attacking him early. Let's see if he makes an adjustment today.
He'll face off with a rookie and Trevor Richards, who has quite a story that we'll dive into as this afternoon rolls on. Afternoon baseball on a weekday, and we've got first pitch coming up on the other side of the break. By your SoCal Land Rover retailers. Kershaw and the Dodgers trying to finish off this homestand with a victory on a gorgeous afternoon for baseball in Los Angeles. Game 3 between the Dodgers and the Marlins. Here's the Marlins lineup, brought to you by 76. Derek Dietrich will lead things off, followed by their top hitter, JT Realmuto. Starlin Castro, the second baseman, hits third. In the middle, it's Anderson, then Bohr. The veteran Cameron Maben is in right. Former Dodger Miguel Rojas starts at short. And in center field, Lewis Brinson, considered their top prospect coming into the year. You mentioned it, Nomar. Washington took a different approach than we've seen really anybody take against Kershaw on Friday. They were very aggressive, and they put up 4 runs on 9 hits, both of those season highs against
Well,
him.
when you look at the numbers right now, I mean, obviously you factor in that last game. But 435 batting average against on Kershaw's first pitch of an at-bat. So that's very telling, and obviously that is the book because you know he's trying to get ahead. And the reason being because what our batter's hitting when Clayton is ahead, well, they're hitting .098 this year. So how important that first pitch is very important. So
batters are getting ready.
Yeah, when you add in the second pitch to the equation, when hitters put one of the first 2 pitches in play, the number is still above 400 as far as the batting average against. But when you get beyond that, so when you get to the 3rd pitch and beyond, opponents hitting 146. So let's see if the Marlins take the same approach that the Nationals did and attack Kershaw early in the count. They're 6-17. The win yesterday snapped the 5-game losing streak. And now the Marlins trying to win back-to-back games for the first time this season. Dodgers, meanwhile, winners of 7 of their last 9 as Kershaw goes into his windup, and off we go with a fastball high. Dodgers winning the final 2 against the Nationals to win the series over the weekend. They're now looking for a 3rd consecutive series win. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marlins left fielder Derek Dietrich swings and misses, 1-2.
We were talking about it in the open, Joe. You look at Clayton Kershaw, you look at the ERA, 2.45 coming into this game. Not a bad ERA, but the record just 1-3. And the Dodgers offense knows they've only given them just an average of 3 runs of support.
He strikes out Dietrich to open the 9th.
And we also know Clayton Kershaw, when he gets
11,
those run support, he does attack just like he did right there. You know, some of those home runs that he's given up, there was just one game. I look at one game and I said I can kind of scratch that home run out because he had such a big lead and he didn't want to walk anybody, so they ended up hitting one off of him. But when he doesn't have that support, now he feels like he has to be Clayton Kershaw, the perfect Clayton Kershaw, in order to get that victory.
How impressive has this guy been in these couple of games, and really in his first week healthy this year? JT Realmuto looks at a first pitch inside, ball 1. Spent the first 3 weeks of the season on the DL with a back injury that he suffered midway through spring training. And all he's done in his first week back is hit 400. Homered in last night's game. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, you're a big fan of this guy, huh?
He's got such a good swing. He's got power. He'll drive the ball to all fields. It's not one-dimensional, and you can really see that just by the way the defense is. They're playing him straight up. We know the Dodgers have so much advanced scouting. They'll play a shift when they need to. They'll move guys around, but it's pretty much straight up against them.
On a 1-1 pitch, Realmuto looks at strike 2. Saw the numbers a moment ago for him against the Dodgers in his career. .391 average, and he's matched the all-time record for longest hitting streak to open a career against the Dodgers. 18 consecutive games with a hit. Guy that he ties, a former Giant, Jim Davenport, who did it in the first year in California. Lays off a slider, and it's 2-2.
I wonder if he knows that. Oftentimes you don't know things like that unless somebody's asking you a question about it, because you're just going, listen, I'm really just thinking about having a good mechanics, good swing, and today I'm thinking about that I have to face Clayton Kershaw.
Gets him with a slider, back-to-back Ks to open the day for Kershaw.
This isn't a hitter that you're going, listen, let me just attack him with fastballs early and then maybe show my breaking stuff later in the game. You know, you can attack with your breaking stuff early because you know he can do some damage, and that was a really good slider.
So you mean you didn't like reporters to come up to you and tell you about your streaks and your numbers?
No,
you weren't a fan of that.
Well,
huh?
there were times when they're like, oh, you do really well against the guy. You own them. Why is that? And I'm like, I do. And then they tell you, and then I never get a hit against that guy again.
Starlin Castro takes a first pitch curve for ball 1. There's a shortstop in town here that's kind of similar to that, Corey Seager. And I think most ball players are very much like that. The exceptions are the ones who want to talk about the streaks and what's going on with their swing. Puts you in the wrong side of the brain, right?
Well, a lot of times because that's not what you're thinking. That's not in your head. You're so just kind of in the zone or thinking about maybe one thing when you're stepping up to the plate. Because that's what you try to do. You always hear try to simplify it, you know. And all of a sudden it takes that one question, you add more into your head.
2-1 on Castro. Kershaw today facing a lineup dead last in the majors, averaging just a little more than 3 runs per game. That's a 2-1 fly, and Castro watches it go right down the middle for a strike. 2-2. Aborted mid windup.
Smart, something he obviously felt, or I wonder if he was. Sometimes you can go in the windup and think one pitch and realize it was the wrong pitch.
Whatever that was, it was the right pitch. A slider under Castro's bat. He strikes out the side in the first, getting Dietrich swinging, getting Real Muto swinging, and the same with Castro. Dodgers off and rolling, coming to bat for the first time after this. With the lineup presented by 76, it's Chris Taylor to lead it off, and then Corey Seager. Yasmani Grandal's back in there today, hitting third. Bellinger bats cleanup. Kemp in right with Puig getting the day off. Chuck Peterson in left. Chase Utley at second, and Kike Hernandez making the start at third. Against Trevor Richards, who went undrafted out of a Division II school. Pitched 2 years of independent ball. Signed a minor league contract in 2016 with the Marlins. Rocketed through their system and then made the team out of spring training this year as a non-roster invitee. His first pitch of the day is hit foul, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, good story. Comes at you with a fastball in the low 90s. Really good changeup and an occasional curveball. What he really relies on is that command and a little bit of deception. He hides the ball just a little bit behind his body in his delivery.
And an 0-1. This is low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Taylor riding a 7-game hitting streak. Curve there, 1-2. The Dodgers, who had gotten hot towards the end of the series against Arizona about a week and a half ago, and then down in San Diego, have cooled off on this homestand, hitting below 200 since this homestand began. Kind of amazing you're hitting 196 as a team in this stretch, scoring less than 3 runs per game on the homestand, but a chance to win 4 of 6. A 1-2. Lays off 2-2.
Trevor Richards, we looked at the ERA at a 6.16 coming into today. His last outing, he gave up 5 earned runs. But the outing before, 7 innings and just 2 hits and no runs.
goes full on Taylor, and that was against Pittsburgh, who started this season as one of the best hitting teams.
Really effective, and then you're looking, wait a minute, isn't his record 0-2? He goes 7 innings, only allowing 2 hits.
Such has been the season for the Marlins. 3-2 pitch.
You see that foul ball by Chris Taylor. We were discussing about last night's game. We saw a lot of Dodger hitters fouling off pitches that they usually put in play and square up.
And then looks at one down the middle for strike 3.
Shortstop number 5, Corey Seager.
Well, after fouling off the pitch before, that one was just a fastball just right down the middle. That was obviously one he was looking for something different.
Brings up Corey Seager. Who takes a first pitch strike over the outside corner.
And it's interesting because he'll attack with his fastball. This year he's thrown nearly 60% of the time it's been with that fastball. And even when he's ahead, he'll use that to put away, as we just saw against Chris Taylor. It's that fastball change-up mix. Like I said, his curveball is more to let you know that he has it, but he really relies from an off-speed standpoint is that change-up.
Same grip that he's used since he was a middle schooler on that change-up. Learned it at a camp from an old pro scout. He's 24 years old now, originally from a small town in Illinois, Aviston, Illinois. About 2,000 people there near St. Louis. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another one of those. I see a reaction.
Yeah, that's another one. And we've been talking about these Dodger hitters, some of them who are just still trying to find it. Corey Seager being one of them. And it's really easy to go to maybe when he's striking out that very last pitch and say, oh, he's swinging out of the zone like that.
To change up, 2 out.
Chasing pitches like that and going, gosh, he just has to be more patient or swing at strikes. But it's really not this pitch right here, which was a really good changeup that we talked about from Richards, but it was the pitch before that gets you that point where you're fouling off the pitches you usually put in play and drive, and then you don't have to worry about it. So we have a look at the pitch before. Here's the fastball. There it is, right there. Middle, about belt high.
Ball 1 on Grandal. Yasmani back in there after getting last night off. First game of the series, had an 11-game hitting streak come to an end, which is the longest of his career. Hottest start of his career. Top 5 in the league, hitting .328. On a 2-0 pitch. Fastball, strike 1. Three balls and a strike. And 5 hitters in this game. All 5 of them have struck out. 3 for Kershaw, 2 so far for Richards. Who rocks and deals 3-1. Grandal takes ball 4. And the Dodgers have the first base runner of the night. Brings up Cody Bellinger. Time now for the Land Rover Performance Spotlight. We go down to Alana.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Of course, his Major League Baseball debut a year ago today. I asked some of the coaches about the growth that they've seen with Cody Bellinger. And a lot of different answers that you might imagine. Chris Woodward was just saying his maturity, and then George Lombard was just talking about the in-game adjustments that he has. And Dave Roberts just said, you know what, things just aren't moving as fast for this kid. He has a level of maturity that's well beyond his years, only 22 years of age. Just really impressed with what he's been able to do. Of course, the reigning National League Rookie of the Year and All-Star. And to think that we were told he was coming up just to see what he could do, get his feet wet, kind of out of necessity because of an injury. He took advantage and never looked back.
Yeah, it was going to be until Adrian Gonzalez got healthy and got right. Bellinger made it so it didn't matter once he was healthy. It's in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. The whole bottom line is winning games, right? And when the Dodgers called him up, they were 9-11. They went 95 and 47 from that point forward.
I think it was his impact and also CT3's impact, Chris Taylor's.
It's up high and it's 2-1.
And Alana touched on something too, Dave Roberts, how the game seems to slow down for him. Well, we saw that over a course of last year, and it really seemed early when he got called up.
Belts one down the right field line. It's hooking foul.
Well, that one slowed down for him. Stays back on the changeup, but not back enough. Those are the ones where you try to use a little body language to see if you can keep it fair.
Yeah. Needed more that time. 2-2. Yeah, Bellinger looks at strike 3. So Richards winds up getting 3 Ks in the inning, matching Kershaw with those 3 in the first. Marlins coming back, winning last night 3-2, and after an inning today, no score. Joe Davis, Nomar Garciaparra, and Alana Rizzo as Clayton Kershaw goes back out there to face the middle third of the Miami order. You were talking about it during the pregame show today. Doesn't seem like it should be game 23 of the season against the lowly Marlins that big of a deal. It's an important game for the Dodgers to finish this homestand on the right note, going into the longest trip of the year, trying to get back a game above 500.
Well, we talked about how their struggles early in the season. Their offenses had the struggle, and then we saw that, all right, they started to turn it around, looked like they were turning around, looked like the Dodgers we came to expect.
Anderson goes after the first pitch and rips it off of Hernandez's glove for a leadoff single.
And we saw when they swept the Padres, we're like, okay, that's what you're supposed to do, and you want to keep that momentum. They won the series against the Washington Nationals, which is great, so you want to continue that against the Marlins here, as we saw just Kike just getting off the tip of his glove. And so now you're going, all right, Marlins, like San Diego, maybe a potential sweep, and it would have been nice going, well, it would be nice to go in that final game with a chance to sweep with Clayton Kershaw on the mound. Now you have Clayton Kershaw going, just trying to win the series.
Justin Bour looks at a first pitch strike. That's a Marlins team at 6-17. Only one team in the National League with a worst record so far. They've not won a series yet. The old Dodger manager, Don Mattingly. Kershaw's 0-1. And the dirt ball one.
And when you're just looking at going into the series, we know the struggles the Marlins have had so far. But even when you're looking at the matchups, you're thinking, okay, that first game, Garcia, who's been outstanding, had only given up a couple of hits going into that start. And you're like, all right, well, maybe that one's going to be bad. If you can pull that off, great. But the next two guys you think you should go out there and score some runs off of when they have ERAs above 5, and yet they were able to beat Garcia. And now here, struggled yesterday to put some runs on the board. Just only a couple, just 4 hits off Peters. And now Richards, you're thinking, okay, when you look at that, they should be able to put some runs on him.
Bohr lines one into center field, a base hit. Back-to-back hard hit balls to open this inning for the Marlins against Kershaw.
Fielder number 1, Cameron Maybin.
Yeah, the homestand started with Scherzer and Strasburg, but it's finishing with a couple of nondescript rookies who you'd expect them to have some success against.
And right now, if the Marlins, if you're both teams, you're going to try to put some runs on the board early, not for just the obvious reasons, but until those shadows start coming into play and creeping in.
They're getting there.
Yep. Wonder if that did not affect even Kike on that line drive, because yeah, it's one thing to hit with them, but even coming off with the stands, the brightness in the background when they hit the ball, just all it takes is a little bit and can go right off your glove like it did.
Cameron Maybin, 2 on, nobody out, looks at a first pitch strike. At what point does it become an issue at the plate? Because at some point you're no longer seeing the ball actually, right? So how far does the shadow need to get in front of home plate?
Usually about right in front of the dirt.
Okay.
That cut of the dirt around there, that's a good spot. And once it starts creeping out even farther. But the one thing here at Dodger Stadium also, it just seems, you have to say, it seems like it's really bright in the background. And it's not anything they've done. It's not saying it's a bad batter's eye. It's a beautiful batter's eye. It's one that hitters feel really comfortable in. It's just this time of day around that 4:30, 5 o'clock time, you notice it, especially at batting practice.
1 and 2 on Maybin. Yeah, for the same reason we call it blue heaven on earth. Right. Bright and beautiful. It's hard to see at this time of day. Anderson is second, Bohr at first, and Kershaw to Maybin with a 1-2 pitch. Dribbled along third and foul. Maybin's been around, started his career with the Tigers. He was the 10th overall pick of the Tigers many years ago. And has already had one stint with the Marlins. He was the return to the then Florida Marlins for Miguel Cabrera. Played a few seasons there, injury-riddled seasons. That was a big part of the story for him early on in his career, was he just couldn't stay healthy. He lifts one to left field that sends Peterson back to the warning track to catch it up against the wall. So 3 loud ones to open this inning. That produces the first out.
Good route by Jock Peterson. Outfielders, infielders will all say the toughest ball to catch is the one right at you, because it's tough to judge. And that was going right after Jock, but turned around, knew it was hit hard, recognized it early, then picked the ball up. Other thing not easy to do, especially when you have the brightness behind into the crowd. Did a nice job tracking that ball down.
So 1 away, and here's Miguel Rojas, who in a small way will always be connected with Clayton Kershaw. Made his big league debut as a Dodger in 2014, and 2 weeks after he debuted was playing third base the night that Clayton Kershaw no-hit the Colorado Rockies. And Rojas made a no-hitter saving play, crossing the line and a long throw late in that game. It's the 7th inning at that point. It was traded in the D. Gordon deal. Grandal coming out for a visit. First of the 6 allotted.
Smart. And smart now, and something you have to be aware of as a middle infielder, because now that you have that, okay, the catcher's going out. A lot of times, you know, man on set, you're going, okay, now's a good time for me to go check, make sure we're all in sync, because it just counts as one compared to coming in later to make sure and check if you're not aware of the signs or what's going on.
Kicks away from Grandal, and no throw as Anderson takes third.
I guarantee you now, middle infielders are reminding themselves once they see their catcher go out there, as we see Grandal trying to keep it close to him. Good job just getting in front of it. But even that one, after Grandal went out there, he's noticing they came in later. It was like, wait a minute, you know, here's a good time. We should we should come in and take advantage of the trip to the mound.
Kind of have to go against your instincts you've been using your whole baseball life.
You never had to worry about it.
Right. First and third, one out. Scoreless game in the second, and Kershaw to Rojas with a 1-1. Curve, grounded foul, strike 2. Looking for a strikeout here or a ground ball that can get him out of the inning. Against a Marlins team that he's not faced in a couple of years, but the last time he did see him had some problems. Marlins beat him both times they faced him in 2016. Granted, with a much different looking lineup. Giancarlo Stanton homered against him. Here's the 1-2. Back to the curve, and Rojas stays alive. Rojas known for his defense. Never been much of a hitter. Although last year some encouraging things. And what was his most significant role as a big leaguer?
You're starting to see that shadow just kind of coming into play there as we have that look. And now, after a couple curveballs, you set him up either for that slider down in or fastball up.
With a fastball, and it was buzzed outside of first. Still 1-2. You're conscious of where that shadow's going as a hitter. Do you think a pitcher's ever conscious of it and waits a little bit, works a little more slowly to let it get there?
Smarty pitchers will.
Because it seems like he's not quite working as fast as usual. I know there's guys on, but
smart pitchers will recognize that.
He qualifies.
Yep.
Yeah. Coming inside with another 1-2. Rojas takes it. Ball 2. Eight-hitter Lewis Brinson due next. On a 2-2 pitch, Rojas takes it low and really making Kershaw work here. He's run the count full.
Well, we were talking about the shadows. It seems like Rojas is seeing him okay right now. I mean, taking those pitches.
Next one will be the 8th of the AB. Our guy's really been struggling lately. Anderson at third and Bohr at first. The payoff. And he walked him. That is quite a trip up there for Miguel Rojas to load the bases for Lewis Brinson.
Center fielder number 9, Lewis Brinson.
Well, Brinson's been boom or bust, especially on this road trip for the Marlins. It's pretty much been home run or strikeout. He's batting in a big spot here early in this game. Kershaw's first one is hit foul. Only 23 years old, considered the top prospect in the system before breaking in. The main concern that scouts have had about him is that he's long-limbed, kind of a long swing, and really high strikeout numbers, partially as a result. Puts the curve in play. Kershaw comes home for the force out. As good as a strikeout right there for Kershaw, and 2 gone.
Kershaw bouncing off the mound, just almost as if it was just a bunt. That's what you're supposed to do. And good job getting some nice touch on that one. Sometimes you're thinking so much on this throw, body going away, especially going home. You know how important that throw is, where you can kind of just throw it into the dirt, or you toss it over his head.
Yeah, not an easy play. Sets him up here against Trevor Richards, the opposing pitcher, and if he can get him, he'll be out of this bases loaded jam. Ball 1. Well, the rookie 0 for 6 in his major league career at the plate. That's a strike. He misses again. 2 balls and a strike. After he struck out the side in the first inning, 3 balls hit better than 100 miles per hour here in the second to load him up. On a 2-1. Foul, and it's 2-2. '24th pitch of the inning for Clayton Kershaw. And it gets him out of a bases loaded jam. Marlins leave him loaded, and we stay scoreless to the bottom of the second. BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family, only at Jack in the Box. Clayton Kershaw hoping for an efficient outing today. Get home and hang out with Kellyanne, his daughter, Charlie, his son. Kellyanne 3 now, Charlie's 1.
In between innings, he goes to the concession stands.
Yeah,
Wondering.
they made him pay. It's Clayton Kershaw. Matt Kemp leads off this second against Trevor Richards, and hits one in the air to right. Cameron Maben, 1 pitch, 1 out. Well, what a beautifully baseball thing, where the pitching matchup today is a guy who a lot of people consider the greatest of this generation, one of the greatest of all time, against somebody who 2 years ago was pitching in independent baseball. Undrafted at a Division II Drury University, signed with the nearby independent league team, the Gateway Grizzlies of the Frontier League. And why them? Well, it was about a 30-mile drive from his parents' house, so he could keep living with his mom and his dad while he chased the dream. Delivers a strike to Jock Peterson. After his first season of independent ball, his fiance, who was his high school sweetheart growing up in Aviston, Illinois, they came to an agreement. He was going to play for 1 more year. That's high on Peterson, 1-1. And if nothing came of it, if he didn't get a affiliated opportunity, he was going to put his degree to use, which is in criminology. He's going to go check out a police academy, or perhaps get in with the Border Patrol. A high strike, 1-2. But 2 months after that ultimatum was put down, there was a Miami scout that was at a Gateway Grizzlies game to watch another player. Richards happened to be pitching, and that changeup you've talked about, Nomar, caught the scout's eye. Days later, he had a deal. 2-2. So pitched in the minors towards the end of that season for the Marlins. That was 2016. First full season in the Marlins system last year. Their minor league pitcher of the year. And then breaks camp with the team this year. Paints the outside corner for strike 3, already his 4th.
Second baseman.
Well, I'm sure he noticed the changeup and also his command of that fastball. Going out there painting the corner. Seems like a lot of the Dodger hitters, they're reading a certain scouting report where they're not able to pull the trigger on that fastball. Looking for something different.
Brings up Chase Utley with 2 out. Yeah, 3 of the 4 strikeouts, Nomar, have been fastballs looking. The other one was Seager swinging on a changeup. That's strike 1 on Utley.
Interesting thing is for Richards, and it's early in his career, but you look at the splits, the way first time through the lineup, the batting average against is about 167. I wonder if a lot of teams are going, listen, let me see what he has, get a good look. And then after that, second to third time through, it jumps up to 356.
Stuck with a fastball. Utley took it. Ball 1. Now 1-2. That's the change. Ball 2. Were you one to wait on a new pitcher and see what he's got? Because if anybody wouldn't do that, I would assume you'd be the guy that
waiting on anybody.
Yeah, I figured. Utley hits ground ball to second. That is Castro to throw him out. The Dodgers down in order. Just 11 pitches in that inning for Richards. Broadcast booth, Joe Davis and Nomar Garcia-Parra. And as the season ebbs and flows, as every season does, we saw the Dodgers offense really come alive in San Diego, but on this homestand, hitting below 200 and having a hard time so far today.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the first 2 games, that it looked like guys who are just seem like they're a little bit off mechanically, where they seem to be missing pitches that they normally are able to drive, fouling them off. Seems like we've seen a couple so far early in this game. And it also seems like they're also trying to figure out or feel out Trevor Richards, being the first time they've seen him pitch.
Second time through the order for the Marlins against Kershaw. The curve has Dietrich tapping it back to him for the first out.
Well, fans, we know you wake up, you brush your teeth, you eat breakfast, maybe a cup of coffee, but then you get to pick your guy. That means Beat the Streak. You download Beat the Streak in the App Store or on MLB.com/BTS and add Beat the Streak to your morning routine.
Yeah, definitely after the coffee. One gone for Real Muto.
Just thinking about it, that covered it all right. Wake up, brush your teeth, eat breakfast. Or wait,
depends on what kind of diet you're on.
Or do you eat breakfast then brush your teeth?
That's also a
yeah.
I think it depends on what you have for breakfast.
Make the kids lunches, get them ready for school.
Ball one on Real Muto.
Make them breakfast.
Yeah, I guess there are many different morning routines based on what else is going on in one's life. Some morning routines, like our friend Oral Hershiser, begin with lunch.
Wake up, order your lunch.
Head to the ballpark. 2-1.
Beat the streak. Too late. Missed it.
Can't play it. It's 2 o'clock. Not fair, is it, Oral? You're sitting at home watching and you can't reply. You'll have your chance. See you in San Francisco. 2-1. 3 balls and a strike. You know, as far as Kershaw, who is as much of a creature of routine as you'll ever find, he's softened a little bit on game day from where he was before he had kids, at least the stage while he's at home. Real Muto grounds it foul and the count goes full. It used to be from the second that he'd wake up on his start day, he's the guy that you hear about seeing at the ballpark where you don't want to mess with him, right? But it's kind of hard to be that guy when Kellyanne wants to watch Frozen, sing songs. Charlie wants to play. Big bouncer that backs up Hernandez. 2 out. Clayton reportedly can sing along with the Frozen soundtrack, knows all the Disney princesses by name. First name basis with them.
Oh yeah, you learn those really quick when you start having kids.
Right.
You realize that you're waiting for the next animated movie because you've already seen them all. Like, when's the next Pixar film? When's the next Disney film coming out? Because I'm tired of seeing this one over and over again.
Here he comes to Starlin Castro. Ball 1. Oral has texted the booth and would like to clarify that we have the timeline wrong. His lunch is at 1. Bus is at 3. He's up to study at 10. He doesn't say what he's studying. So I'll just tell you, it's Yelp.
Up at 1, bus at 3. Is he able to get BTS in time?
For sure. 3 balls, no strikes on Castro.
Yelp. You're not wrong.
I'm giving him a hard time, but there's some truth to it. 4-pitch walk to Castro. It's Kershaw's second free pass, and it keeps this inning alive for Brian Anderson.
Number 15, Brian Anderson.
Anderson had the first of the 3 really hard hit balls against Kershaw last inning. It's a single to left. They loaded the bases against Clayton, but he was able to get out of it with no damage. It's 5 straight balls now. This is rare. He's a guy who is as good as anybody at finding the strike zone. Came into the start with only 3 walks total. He's issued 2 today. There's a strike, 1-1.
And so often the time we see Clayton Kershaw yelling when he's upset with the pitch. You notice he yells. It's not waiting till the pitch is crossing home plate or knows where it's going. He knows upon release when it's not going to be good.
Curves low. Anderson seeing it well. 2-1. And that's another one of those things that you probably wouldn't want to ask him about, because he doesn't want to think about whether or not he feels it right away or the ball crosses the plate. 2-1. Strike 2. Missed with a fastball, full count, and Castro will get a head start from first. There goes Castro. Anderson looks at ball 4, and back-to-back walks here in the 3rd, doubling his season total so far tonight.
Number 41, Justin Moore.
We've seen a few yells from Clayton Kershaw this inning. So last inning, early they attacked him, got a couple base hits, and then he was able to find a way out of it. Very un-Clayton Kershaw-ish with those back-to-back walks.
And he gives Bohr a chance here with 2 on and 2 out. Ball 1. And we asked coming in if the Marlins would have the same approach the Nationals did successfully, being very aggressive against Kershaw on Friday night. But it's kind of been the other end of the spectrum. They've waited him out, and he's issued those 3 walks. Bohr corks a line drive to right that Kemp will slide down to catch and put an end to the inning. Matt Kemp only his 3rd start right this season, perhaps saving a run here by sliding in to take it away.
Not an easy play to read this one, and if it gets by him, it's a couple of runs. Great play by Matt Kemp.
the Marlins travel schedule. They'll head home to Miami when this one finishes. Kike Hernandez opens the third and takes a strike from Trevor Richards. Richards 4 Ks over 2 hitless innings thus far. Here in his 6th major league start. On a 1-1 pitch, Hernandez with the check swing foul. 1-2.
Be really interesting to see what the Dodgers maybe approaches the next time versus Richards. Because, you know, he's still going to challenge you with that fastball. You look at his numbers over his starts. I mean, that first time through, he really, I mean, his fastball usage is near 67%. Then he cuts it down about half the time for a second time through.
Tails a fastball in, strike 3 on Hernandez. That's the 4th fastball looking variety of strikeout for the Dodgers.
Number 22.
And as we were just talking about it, because you know he's going to use it. And I'm wondering if the Dodgers are giving so much credit to his changeup, which is a very good changeup, mind you, but where that fastball is just freezing them because they're expecting that changeup to come, and they're not reading it out of his hand.
Kershaw takes ball 1. We were talking earlier in this series about how good of a 2-strike hitting team they've been this season. Not often you see just an uncompetitive strike 2 take like they're guessing something else. Richards to Kershaw 1-1. Clayton swings through it 1-2.
Clayton will take his hacks.
Yeah. You're betting against him watching strike 3 on a fastball, huh?
Yeah, you might get him on a swing and miss changeup, but see, he's got the fastball, even he was protecting it.
It's always his goal, and he's kind of set that tone for the pitching staff. Just make the opposing pitcher throw as many pitches as you can. If you happen to get on, great. But the main goal is to make them work. And he has to a 2-2 count. Full count.
He's definitely achieved what you talked about, making them work.
We'll see an 8th pitch in this at-bat against Richards. Down the left field line, a base hit. On the 8th pitch of the at-bat, Clayton Kershaw collects the first hit of the day for the Dodgers.
Hey, what we've seen so far from this Dodger offense, that was one of the best approaches we've seen in at-bats from the Dodgers so far. And this one even up and out of the zone. And Clayton Kershaw able to get the barrel to that ball and drive it the other way. He actually fouled off a pitch near there, the pitch before, to stay alive. Recognize the pitches and helping himself out.
Must be a loose helmet that he wears. Pops off in that swing. Chris Taylor now looks at ball 1 high. Remember Kershaw on opening day when the Dodgers were shut out 1-0, had 2 of their 6 hits. It's his first one since then. And it's the first of the day for this lineup against Richards. Let's check in with Alana
Guys, no surprise that Clayton Kershaw takes everything seriously, and you can add hitting into that category. Rich Hill joined us on the pregame show today, and he also takes his hitting seriously. Clayton Kershaw a bit more effective at the plate, but Rich was saying they take it seriously not only because they're competitors, but also they want to try and work the count just as any other position player would, to try to force the opposition, as far as the pitcher's concerned, to throw as many pitches as possible. Perhaps they get him out of the game a little bit earlier, and Clayton Kershaw doing it there with that 8-pitch at bat.
And especially against a team a lot like the Marlins, whose bullpen has not been very good this year. Now, they've been pretty good in this series, but on the season near the bottom of baseball. Ball and a strike on Taylor. Has a hit in 7 straight. And in his major league career has always been a good hitter against Miami. Close to 400 lifetime against the Marlins. Bottom of the zone, strike 2.
Yeah, Chris Taylor not liking this pitch as we have another look and see why he had to turn around and ask Joe West, like, sure, might have been a little low.
It's not a popular guy in the Dodger dugout right about now. And caught a piece of the bat, 1-2 still. Stood by his balk call last night. And he said that Cingrani stepped towards home and that it was, in his eyes, by definition, a balk. Cingrani said it's the same move that he always does, and it is.
And I think it's his only eyes that'll see that or call that, because it hasn't been called. Cingrani hasn't been called for a balk since 2006.
Taylor goes the other way with a high fly ball. Maben and Brinson converge, and it's Maben to catch it for out number 2.
Number 5, Corey Seager.
You know, by definition, I mean, when you look at the rules for balk, you know, yeah, it's really up to the umpire's judgment whether he stepped home or whether he came to first. And obviously that was Joe West's judgment that he was trying to step home. And you also look at the definition is that you got, you know, if you're deceiving the runner,
yep,
well, then I can make that argument every time a lefty throws over to first base that he's trying to deceive you.
Strike 1 on Seager.
So you can call that every time a lefty throws over there. And then the other thing too is, you know, Cingrani's point probably is, if you're going to use that I was trying to deceive the runner and call a balk, well, look at the runner right here. Watch him go back. He's already here. He's trying to deceive it. Oh, he's back. Oh, he's back again. His argument was like, if you're going to say, well, you're trying to deceive it, I didn't deceive him too well because he got back really easy. Yeah. So the only person he apparently deceived was Joe West. That's why he called it. Like, well, no, you didn't deceive the runner, but you deceived me, so I'm calling it. You get second. So, and you know what? We don't talk about it, and it's not a big deal, but it's because it's him, the center of it. It's probably why it's more of a bigger deal than anything, because, you know, everybody seems to know his name, and all the good umpires, you don't know who they are. You don't know their names.
Here comes the 1-2 to Corey Seager. Lays off a fastball away, 2-2. Cowboy Joe West even has a nickname. 65 years of age. From Asheville, North Carolina.
That's his nickname, I'm sure, amongst his umpire friends.
Players aren't calling him Cowboy?
They do.
Full count. Nomar, tell me how you really feel. I need to get Rick Krajewski to look up Nomar's numbers with Joe West behind the plate.
I never give him enough time.
Seager down the left field line towards the foul pole. That ball is just outside the pole and still 3-2.
Another advantage of swinging at the first pitch.
Take him out of the equation.
Never have to factor in that. You know, what's funny is, I remember I was working for ESPN, and there was a game Joe West was behind home plate. And I think the Red Sox might have struck out like 17 times that game, and they made a big deal about his strike zone. And I was asked about that, like, what do you about him behind home plate, all his complaints, and I said, well, listen, never known Joe West to strike me out 17 times.
Seager strikes out in a changeup. Second time Richards has gotten him on that tonight. That's 6 total for the rookie, and after 3, still no score.
Fourth inning of work. They're going to wrap this one up, and they have a day off tomorrow before heading to San Francisco for a 4-game set. We have a couple of probables to update you on. Walker Buehler, although it hasn't been officially announced, looks like he's going to start game 1 of that doubleheader on Saturday. The night game belongs to Alex Wood, and it'll be Kenta Maeda on Sunday night. And then Rich Hill back in the fold after throwing a simulated game earlier yesterday. He said he feels good. That cracked fingernail on his throwing hand seems to be fine. He's going to get the start against Arizona on Monday. Hyunjin Ryu will get things started on Friday, guys, against the Giants.
All right, Alana, good stuff. Yesterday was about 2 o'clock. Rich Hill was throwing that simulated game. I was looking down at my papers in the booth. Didn't even have to look up to know who was throwing the simulated game, because 2 pitches into it, he let out this loud yell. He was already mad at himself. But the results were good. He liked what he saw from all of his pitches. Even said the changeup looked good, incorporated that quite a bit. In this one, no scores. We go to the 4th.
Well, fans, you can celebrate Justin Turner's 2017 NLCS game-winning 3-run homer on Wednesday, May 9th, when the Dodgers host Arizona. Be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance at Dodger Stadium and take home a Justin Turner walk-off home run bobblehead presented by State Farm. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Cameron Maben to lead this inning off against Kershaw. Has 4 Ks, but has walked 3 this afternoon. It's a first pitch low. It's 1-0, and we go down to Alana. Try again in a moment. One and one. Let's try now, Alana.
The audio and the grunting from Rich Hill's simulated game was on point, as you mentioned, but apparently so was his stuff. When he joined us on the pregame show, he is such a feel guy, and he said this was the best as far as his stuff out of his hands and the way all of his pitches were feeling than he's felt all year. So hopefully that's a good sign for Monday.
Yeah. Open that series against Arizona. 2 balls and a strike on Maben. Diamondbacks, by the way, in case you haven't been keeping up, 16-6 coming into the day. It's the best record in the National League. Maben pulls one by third. That's a fair ball. And he's got a leadoff double.
Number 19, Miguel Rojas.
You see where Grandal wanted that one. He was looking for that ball to be down and in. Clayton Kershaw really missed his spot there. Able to sneak it down the line.
Marlins with 6 base runners now. Still not yet anything to show for it. Rojas was one of those base runners. Worked a long at bat and eventually walked in the 2nd. And that loaded the bases with one out, but Kershaw was able to get a ground out and a strikeout to get out of that inning. On the hand, strike one.
We talk about it from an offensive standpoint. When you're facing a pitcher like Clayton Kershaw, when you have opportunities like this, you are really trying to do the little things. And to say, okay, this is, I have to move him over. The only tough thing about this is where Rojas is hitting in the lineup, because you have the pitcher two behind him. Because, yeah, you think about going the other way, but some of the thoughts, and he can actually handle the bat. He can lay a bunt down. Sometimes you would think about maybe giving that push bunt, making sure you get it over there and moving him over to third. But with the fact that you have, okay, after the guy on deck, then you have the pitcher spot where you rather see him swing the bat and try to get it, you know, maybe go the other way, but see if you can get a hit the other way.
Second visit over the first 4 innings. Who's surprised that we haven't seen the visit counter get closer to 0 in a game yet this year? It's been a non-factor.
Yeah, I wonder if, you know, when they decided, was it, if that's just normal, or unless they are really, really aware of it. And I'm wondering if a lot of that factored in. It seems like it definitely increases in the playoffs. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's always, you know, you're out there and making sure. So it's interesting why they put that in, but obviously seen it, and it's good that it's a non-factor.
Rojas with a jam shot to short right that'll sink in for a base hit. Maben stops at third, and Kemp hits the cutoff man. They're at the corners to open the inning.
Well, Rojas does his job staying inside the ball, going the other way. The ball kind of hangs in the air, and Maben had to freeze to make sure that that ball wasn't caught, not only from your second baseman but also from Matt Kemp, and that's why he had to hold up at third.
Scoreless game in the fourth. Maben's at third and Rojas is at first, and the 8-hitter Lewis Brinson comes up. With the bases loaded in the second, he tapped the curve back to the mound. Kershaw came home with it and then eventually got a strikeout of Richards. Shows bunt and takes low. As of a couple weeks ago, and I don't know where the number is now, but the average mound visit per game was down from 6 in the regular season to the 3 this year, from last year to this year. So it had done its job without feeling like it was impacting it or affecting it negatively. Brinson can't lay off 1-1. You're right, though. The big test is going to be the postseason.
Yeah.
When you're trying to be sure about every single pitch. One and two.
And I've talked about it, like, as a middle infielder, the adjustments you make is maybe, okay, you check on things just like we talked about. Okay, let's make sure I have the signs ahead of time, not waiting till there's, because there are times where I wouldn't ask the starting pitcher or even a pitcher that comes in the game. I wouldn't ask, hey, what are you using with a man on second? I wouldn't ask what the signs are, because it's like telling them, yeah, there's going to be a guy on second base. Rather, you just wait till the guy gets there, then you come in and ask.
Kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right, right. So now you probably just ask before, hey, what are we using? Make sure we're all on the same page. You know, I think pitchers coming in or starters won't be insulted when you do ask.
Right.
Like, what are you trying to say?
Using a visit for this?
Right.
Kershaw to Brinson with a 2-2. Tap to third. Runner charges home. Hernandez has one play.
Wow.
But it's a foul ball. It is a foul ball.
Okay.
And still 2-2.
You had third base coach for the Marlins pointing fair, as he knows that was a tough play by Hernandez, because he's in between whether letting this go foul or if it's going to be fair, and then also getting a speedy Brinson. See that now it goes, and that call, that's actually home plate umpire's call. Third base umpire waiting for it to get by or get near the bag before he's calling it. So Joe West called it foul. It was close.
Seems like a play that's that close requires a little more of an emphatic signal. We'll do the 2-2 again. Grandal setting the target low and inside. Kershaw throwing and missing low. Counts full. Having a battle without his best stuff today.
Yeah, you know, off speed, he's been off with his command. His slider's been off. His curveball's been off. But also, seen that fastball. Just, he's out there fighting it, trying to find it.
Here's a payoff. Brinson takes it for ball 4. Came into the start with 3 walks on the season. He's issued 4 today, and they're loaded up with nobody out.
Trevor Richards.
That's what you're talking about, Joe. First 5 starts, just 3 walks. Tonight, 4. Those are the obvious numbers telling you, but we've just seen it. We've seen how off he's missed his spot.
Strike 1 on Richards. Kershaw got him with a high fastball to get out of a bases loaded jam in the second, but there'll be work to do even if he gets Richards with nobody out in this situation. Quickly 0-2. It'll be 75 pitches for Kershaw through 3+. Top of the order, Derek Dietrich due next. 0-2. Curve is high.
You can hear the fans upset with that call, that curveball. You have a look on the pitch cast, it was borderline, but when you've been off the way Kershaw has been, and you see that he's not mad at the call, he's mad at himself for that breaking ball, you're not going to get that borderline call in your favor too often.
A crack bat flare to second. Chase Utley's got it. 1 out.
I know Chase Utley was so aware. That's one of those where he was, I guarantee you, thinking, do I let it drop and go for a double play? Second base umpire right away called it, Marty Foster called it an infield fly. But Chase was thinking about it. He was, when that was coming in, he was looking like, okay, if I let it go, where's that play for that double play?
One away for Dietrich. 0 for 2 in this one. Maben started this inning with a double. Rojas singled. Moved to second on the Brinson walk. Strike 1 on Dietrich.
There are times, this is one unique thing about the National League compared to the American League. You can see how Clayton's trying to find it. It's obvious, even this inning. But then you have that you can have the pitcher that you end up facing. Sometimes facing a pitcher in the National League can get that starter back on track. Like, okay, relax. I know it's a pitcher, not like just another hitter out there, but I know I can just go attack and maybe find it and get that feel you're looking for.
Gets this one by Dietrich, and perhaps he has found something. 0-2.
And compared to that American League where it doesn't seem like there's
no breaks.
No breaks.
Yeah.
You're going, all right, well, that ninth hitter you can sometimes have hitting 300.
Strikeout would be huge. Bases loaded, 1 out, tie game in the 4th. 0-2. He got him swinging. With the fastball, good run to it to the outside, and 2 gone in the 4th.
And those were the 3 best pitches that we've seen Clayton Kershaw throw this inning, as far as from a command standpoint in hitting the target.
Not out of the woods yet. Real Muto comes up. Bases loaded, 2 out.
Now this is when you really need to buckle down, because now you're facing their best hitter so far this year.
Wes homered against Kershaw in his career. On the first one, he lays off a high fastball. Marlins have already stranded 5 over the first 3 innings. Had them loaded with nobody out here in the 4th. Now with 2 out, Real Muto gets ahead 2-0. Rick Honeycutt to the bullpen phone. Strike 1. It's JT Chagua. Kershaw to Real Muto with a 2-1 that's in the dirt, ball 3, and nowhere to put him. The 3-1 popped up down the right field line, peeling towards the line. It is foul. And it very well could have loaded the bases had it stayed fair and stayed in play, or unloaded the bases. Kershaw dodges a bullet, and the count is full.
Yeah, this is right now. This is one where you know you're going. Is it lucky or unlucky? You know, obviously you're saying lucky because it ended up going foul, but same time you still have to make a quality pitch to a guy who has seen the ball well and swinging a hot bat.
Now our 3 runners will be moving. Can he get out of another jam? A pop fly on the right side of the infield. Houdini for Kershaw in the 4th inning. They had the bases loaded, nobody out. He wiggles out of it, and the score remains 0-0.
brought to you by T-Mobile. So far, early for the Dodgers, they've had a lot of strikeouts and a lot of strikeouts looking on that fastball. Got some painting the corners, but some definitely hittable pitches down the middle. See the frustration, and that was first time through the lineup, but now they're getting there where they're really going through the second time of the lineup and see if they can make the adjustments.
3, 4, and 5 in this inning. Grandal takes the first pitch strike from Trevor Richards. It's amazing, isn't it, that on a day when he is, and this is relative, but at his worst, he's got 4 shutout innings. 1-1. He's buckled down when they've gotten the bases loaded. Miami 0 for 5 with the bases loaded already today. 2-1 on Grandal.
We say that so often, the great ones, even when they don't have their best stuff, find ways.
Two and two.
See if the Dodgers can really get something going. We just touched on it. Second time through the lineup. We talked about Richards' batting average over about 360. Second and third time through the lineup. See if they make the adjustment, and also shadows aren't a factor anymore.
He gets Grandal swinging. 7 Ks today for Trevor Richards.
Number 35.
And it wasn't looking. It was a fastball that would have been a strike. He's swinging at strikes, just unable to get the barrel to it.
He had 14 strikeouts total over his first 4 starts. 7 today. And with 1 out, it's Bellinger. Starts him with a changeup. Doesn't get the call. Ball 1. We mentioned that Trevor Richards was living with his parents when he was playing indie ball, and then signed the deal with the Marlins. Foul tipped 1-1. Once he signed that deal, he was spending his off seasons with his fiance in Milwaukee, where he worked at the Miller Coors Brewery in the gift shop, making $9 an hour. This was a year and a half ago. On the corner with a fastball, 1-2. Actually, the Marlins, before they came here to Dodger Stadium, were in Milwaukee. So he pitched in front of his old friends and co-workers from the brewery, and even took his teammates on a VIP tour of the brewery. He knew people. Bellinger can't lay off. 8 Ks, 2 out.
They have a look at Bellinger, and that one's tough to lay off. I can see that. Often as a hitter, you know, you just go and listen. Is there a way you can just ask? That's all you know. It's, you know, you see the umpire, home plate umpire calling it. You just like listen.
Right.
Not, you know, you want them to say you just feel like the other guys have a better angle to call you out on it.
Matt Kemp with 2 out. Takes a fastball, and I think that's been the biggest thing, right? The way he spotted that fastball today. Right on the corner for strike 1. Now curve grounded softly to short. Rojas throws him out, and another 1-2-3 inning for Trevor Richards. We're through with 4 and no score. Stadium as we look at our Coors Banquet timeless moment. He was with the Cubs at this point. Rick served 6 years as a Marine. And rescued the American flag, sprinting from center field to save it. Giant cheers erupted for him. Came to the Dodgers the next year, spent 8 years in a Dodger uniform. Has that flag at his home in Florida. Very special keepsake for him. And of course, now member of the Dodgers radio crew with Charlie Steiner. Beautiful day at the ballpark. We're a 4:35 game this afternoon. Both teams looking for some offense. Marlins have threatened against Kershaw, but they've stranded 8 through 4. The Dodgers have had nothing against Trevor Richards. Nice looking curve for a strike on Castro. Facing the 28-year-old Castro, who pulls a hard bouncer to third. Kike Hernandez, only his second start of the season down there, but with a nice play, 1 out.
Well, Kike Hernandez making it look easy. Only his second time down there. Not an easy play. It almost gets you that in-between hop. Moves those feet very well. Also has the body just kind of having that upward body kind of moving forward so you can adjust to that hop. That's what Chris Woodward preaches. They all buy into it. Nice play.
With 1 out, it's Brian Anderson, who has a ringing single and a very calm looking walk against Kershaw. Appears to be seeing him well. Takes a curve for a strike. How about Kike in this series defensively? Started game 1 at short, game 2 at second, game 3 at third. Back-to-back curves, 1-1. I always remember the World Baseball Classic championship game broadcast last year. They had the players introduce themselves, say what position they're playing. You know, you'd say Nomar Garciaparra, shortstop. Kike said Kike Hernandez, third base, shortstop, second base, first base, left field, center field, right field, catcher. 2-2.
Just said Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, right. Got him with a curve. Continues to go to that specifically against Anderson, and finally finishes him off with it for his 6th K.
We check out the Carl's cam. A little better breaking ball by Clayton Kershaw. That's the bite we are used to seeing from Clayton Kershaw on his breaking ball, and also the command.
So 92 pitches now. His spot is due up 4th in the bottom of this inning. Justin Bohr takes the first one inside. One and one. Nice looking curve again, 1-2.
Ooh.
Just off of the inside, even the count.
Rendell seemed to like that. Just missed. So far this inning, this is the best we've seen his breaking ball.
Looking for his first 1-2-3 inning since he struck out the side in the first inning. Is 2-2 in the dirt. The count goes full. Marlins left the bases loaded in the second. They left 2 on in the 3rd, and then the bases loaded again last inning. '99th pitch of the day for Kershaw. A deep breath and a 3-2 to Justin Bour. He walks and keeps the inning going. That's the first 5-walk game for Clayton Kershaw in 6 seasons. Daniel Hudson made his Dodger debut last night. It was an impressive one. He's getting ready for his 2nd outing in as many nights. Kershaw's 100th pitch is the first one to Maben, and a nice looking curve lands at the knees for strike 1. Two and 1. Maben starting to swing it a little bit better for Miami. Hit one of the big hits last night, game-winning double. It's part of his first multi-hit game in a few weeks, and he's already got a hit in this one against Kershaw, double that started last inning. '31-year-old in his 12th big league season on a 2-1 pitch, takes ball 3. Here comes a 3-1. That's strike 2. Very likely the final batter that Kershaw will face. Trying to finish off 5 innings on a day where he's not had it. 3-2. Ball 4. And he's matched a career high with 6 walks. Only other times he's done that, 2009, 2010.
Obviously the frustration from Clayton Kershaw, but he knows it. And we saw earlier, we saw Daniel Hudson over there in the bullpen. We'll see how much longer Dave Roberts is going to give Clayton Kershaw, but it's going to be one more before he at least sends out Honeycutt to go talk to him.
Yeah. He's going to let Kershaw stay in at this point at 105 pitches with Miguel Rojas at the plate. Lewis Brinson due next. High drive down the left field line towards the foul pole, and it is gone. A 3-run home run from Miguel Rojas. A guy that's never hit more than 1 in a season has just hit his 3rd to open the scoring against Kershaw in the 5th.
Fielder, Lewis Brinson.
Well, we were just talking about it after that last walk. Were they going to come out, maybe just talk to Kershaw, maybe just give him a breather? We could tell he was off with his command. You know, we talked about this inning early on. It looked like he was much better with his curveball, but still then just kind of lost the command of the fastball. Too much of the middle of the plate. Miguel Rojas makes him pay for it.
Lewis Brinson takes strike 1. It's the first time that he's exceeded 100 pitches this year. Comes number 108. It's ball 1. It has not been good, but it's made worse because the offense has been absent. Only one hit today against Trevor Richards.
And one hit's been Clayton Kershaw.
You're right.
It was interesting to see if he was going to get, if he got out of this inning, if Dave Roberts was just going to pinch hit for him after this inning. And I was like, maybe not, because he's the one who's had the best approach so far.
A 2-2. Full count on Brinson.
He really hasn't been able to get that fastball on the glove side. Even that's where Grandal was set up for Rojas. And it leaked right over the middle of the plate.
He strikes out Brinson to finish the Marlins in the 5th and is able to finish 5 innings. But Miguel Rojas with a 3-run home run. We're halfway home, 3-0.
Puig plays host to LA Laker Kyle Kuzma, and Kuzma puts his baseball skills to the test. Plus, Matt Kemp pays homage to an icon on Jackie Robinson Day. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Cadillac, Friday after the postgame on Sportsnet LA.
Dodgers trying to get Kershaw for the hook. Pretty amazing that he had been as bad as he'd been for him and not given anything up before the Rojas swing. But the 3-run homer has him in a 3-0 hole as Jock Peterson takes ball 1 from Trevor Richards. So the Dodgers are trying to figure out the only hit they have against him, as you mentioned last inning, Nomar, came from Kershaw. One and one.
This is the first time they've seen Richards in his career. And last year, guys making their first career start versus the Dodgers record was 4-14. Did you say he was fooled on that changeup on that one?
I'd say so.
Just want to be Captain Obvious.
One-two. Fastball is outside, and the count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. Peterson 0 for 1 today. He's one of several Dodgers that has looked at a strike 3 on a fastball. So far, second time through the order, hasn't produced any better luck than the first time. Here comes Richards with a 2-2. Got him swinging. 9 for Richards.
Number 26, Chase.
And he's really make the Dodgers hitters look off balance. Not only from them taking the fastball on third call strikes, but even some of the swings and misses. And this is that inning where you're trying to get some of that wind back in your sail. Because, yeah, Clayton Kershaw didn't have it. You recognize it. But he was still keeping you in the ball game, and then after a 3-run home run, which usually just takes the life out of you, you got to find a way to maybe at least try to just get one to try to get some momentum back on your side.
Strike 1 on Utley. Now, this is against a guy who his previous strikeout high was 5. The Gateway Grizzlies have a Trevor Richards bobblehead night scheduled for this season already. He keeps doing this. The Miami Marlins might have one too. His 1-1 pitch to Chase Utley is high for ball 2. Daniel Hudson looks like he'll handle the 6th. Two 2-1. 2-2.
And when you're scouting a guy like Trevor Richard, and you can have the radar gun behind home plate, as scouts do. You want to see his velocity, and you're looking at 91, 92, and you're like, all right, well, it's not lighting up the radar gun. But then you're seeing just kind of the swings and misses on the fastball, not just the changeup. You know the changeup was good, and you can see the break on that. But the fact that the hitters either not squaring up the fastball, fouling it off a lot, or their swing and misses, it also tells you that, wait, there might be some deception here in his delivery and his windup that make that fastball that might be at 91 maybe look more like 96 and 95.
Utley earns the walk. Second free pass of the day issued by Richards. Here comes Hernandez. Let's see if he can provide a jolt with one away here in the 5th in a 3-0 game. Austin Barnes is due to bat next in Kershaw's spot. Hernandez gets first pitch breaking ball for a strike.
You know, that's really only his 5th curveball that he's thrown. Predominantly it's been fastball changeups. That's another thing that scouts would notice, are like how effective a pitcher is just maybe on just 2 pitches or predominantly 2 pitches.
Rich Hill does it on fastball curve almost exclusively. It's on a play 0-2. Excited to see if Rich Hill's actually going to incorporate that changeup moving forward that he's been working on so much. A whole nother dimension to Rich. Richards to Hernandez 0-2, and Kike drives a ball on the right field line. That's a long way to go for Maben, but it twists foul. Oh, 2. Dodgers trying to get some support for Kershaw. Hernandez fouls that one off his foot. At this point, 6 starts for Kershaw. They've only gotten him 5 runs. Or 12 runs, beg your pardon. That's still not very many.
No.
Holly at first with 1 away. The set for another 0-2 pitch. Hernandez stays alive.
Talking about that run support we were talking about coming into this game. He was averaging just 3 runs of run support per start. And those that qualify for that stat, about 95 pitchers in major leagues. He ranks 77th. You know who ranks 88th on that list?
Alex Wood.
Yes.
Yeah. Another 0-2 to Hernandez, and he climbs the ladder to stay alive again. He's fouled off 6 in a row. It's been a theme you've talked about, though, in this series, fouling off pitches.
Yeah.
Instead of turning them around, see if he can finally square one up here. 8th pitch of the at-bat will come after a throw to first.
Although Brandon Belt might have got
baby.
the toll.
Major league record 21 pitch at-bat over the weekend. Takes outside, ball 1. There is action down in the Marlins bullpen as Hernandez has forced Richards to climb that pitch count above 90 here. Randy Gonzalez. Took a change to even the count. Hernandez trying to put his foot down here. Force a turning point in this game. Chases strike 3. A rare curveball.
That's tough because after you fouled that many pitches off, and then he looked really good on the pitch before. It looked like he was on the off speed taking it, and then he comes with a really good curveball. And breaks out of the zone. The way it started off, it looked like his fastball that was going on the outer half. Couldn't lay off of it.
Been a frustrating day for these hitters. And 2 out, Barnes will hit for Kershaw. A little bit high with ball 1. Two years removed from independent baseball. 1 year removed from working the desk at the gift shop at a brewery. 1 out from 5 shutout innings against the defending league champs. But he falls behind Barnes 2-0. 2-1. But the more we watch him, right, the more that word you're talking about, deception, seems like it's got to be playing a big factor.
Okay, you've seen a lot of swings and misses. You've seen a lot of takes on it. Like, are they not picking it up? And there are times where it looks like they're, it's tough with this angle, but it looks like they're late. Pitch right there. I mean, that's, you know, you look at the gun, you're like 92. You look at the location. Yeah, he wants it away. Where's it go? Right down the middle. And then, like I said, it could be a combination of, we've really seen the Dodgers batters right now just haven't been in sync and have been struggling a little bit.
Well, Barnes has worked it full. Next pitch would be the 99th of the game for Trevor Richards. Utley will get a head start from first. Ball in the gap will get the Dodgers on the board. There he goes. Here it comes. Barnes pops it foul, and we'll do it again.
Barnes is one of those hitters right now that has really been working hard. A lot in the cage, coming early batting practice, really trying to get that feel. Still hasn't really just found that feel he likes in the batter's box. And one thing he has been able to do well so far with a 333 average, 3 for 9 as a pinch hitter.
100th pitch, misses up and away for ball 4, and gets the tying run to the plate. Chris Taylor coming up here. Does Don Mattingly let Richards keep going, or does he make the move here? Looks like that's going to do it. J.B. Shuck coming in, and what will be a double switch. Shuck will be due to lead off the 6th inning for the Marlins. It's like replacing Brinson in center, and so put the pitcher's spot into the 8th spot in the order. Well, 4 2/3 without a run, although the runners at first and second his responsibility. As good as he was, not in position to win this game. Dodgers will try and tag a couple of runs on his line against the Miami bullpen when you come back. On Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Kind of slogging along in this one. 3-0 Miami, bottom of the 5th inning, and into the Marlins bullpen. Dodgers only get 1 hit against Trevor Richards, but a few walks. They work that pitch count up. And Mirandi Gonzalez, who made his major league debut last week, comes on representing with the tying run coming up to the plate.
Well, trying to build off what Richards did, where the Dodgers were unsuccessful in the guy they seen for the first time. Well, they're seeing Gonzalez for the first time, seeing if he could keep the deceptions, the swings and miss going. Comes at you with a fastball, curveball, changeup. Mostly to righties. It's a fastball, curveball.
Taylor today 0 for 2. "22-year-old out of the Dominican Republic fires, and Taylor watches that breaking ball for a strike. Gonzalez made his debut in Milwaukee. 1 run over 3 innings in his 2 games there. Holly and Barnes both walked. Gonzalez to Taylor with the 0-1. That's inside, ball 1. One and 2. Gonzalez, a former Mets farmhand, came over for the Marlins closer A.J. Ramos last July. Started this year in Double-A with the Jumbo Shrimp. Now trying to protect a 3-0 lead at Dodger Stadium. Here's his 1-2. Taylor takes it in the dirt to even the count up.
Jumbo Shrimp is their Double-A affiliate, right?
Yeah, the baby cakes in Triple-A. Yeah.
So who'd you play for? Well, I played with the Jumbo Shrimp. Then I went to the baby cakes.
And that's when I knew I'd made it.
Yep. And got the call up to the Marlins.
Deuces wild. 2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 pitch. In the dirt to run it full. Now both Utley and Barnes can get going with this next pitch.
Goes after him with a fastball. Right now, the way Chris Taylor gets at bat on his breaking ball, he throws him a breaking ball for a strike. Looks like he's been balanced and staying back just a hair longer, like he's recognizing it.
"3-2. Ripped to left center field. Dietrich moves over. He is there, and the inning is over. Got a breaking ball and hit it hard, but Dietrich cut it off in the gap. The Dodgers leave 2 and trail 3-0. travel to San Francisco and then open a 3-game series with the Giants, or a 4-game series with the Giants on Friday. That includes the doubleheader on Saturday. Finish up that series Sunday. Fly to Phoenix, 4 with the Diamondbacks, then to Monterrey, Mexico for 3 with the Padres on what is the longest road trip of the year. Daniel Hudson worked a 1-2-3 Dodger debut on just 11 pitches last night, so that arm's still fresh to come in and pitch the 6th.
And he looked really good on those 11 pitches. Exactly what Dave Roberts, when asked about Daniel Hudson, what do you see in him? He says, I like the life of his fastball. And he showed that good life yesterday. Also like the late tight break on his slider, which we also saw looked really good yesterday. So he can carry that into today.
J.B. Shuck came out in a double switch last inning. Out of the 9 spot, bats here to lead off the 6th and takes a strike at 95 from Hudson. Who went into spring training coming off a year where he was among the leaders in the National League in appearances with the Pirates, and figured he was headed back to Pittsburgh. Went to camp with them to begin. He's ahead 0-2. But the day before full squad workouts, he was sent to the Tampa Bay Rays in a trade. So he shifts gears, going from thinking he's a Pirate to, okay, I'm a Ray now. Let's try and figure things out here with this new team and this new league. Day before camp breaks, they tell him that he didn't make the team. So he's searching again. Dodgers picked him up. Great start in AAA Oklahoma City. 5 scoreless outings, and then called up yesterday. Former starter in Arizona before 2 Tommy John surgeries. Chuck grounds it foul. Remember the name Johnny Venters?
Yes.
In Atlanta. Venters was called up today by the Tampa Bay Rays. First time he's been called up to the majors in more than 6 years. Attempting to come back from 3 Tommy John surgeries. He'd be the first pitcher in baseball history to do that. That just misses. 1-2.
No, Grandal thought it was a strike. Pitchcast has it as a strike. But ball.
Gets him here for the first out of the 6th. Yeah, Venters had his first Tommy John when he was 20 years old, so before we had ever heard of Johnny Venters. That was back in 2005 while he was an A-ball. And then Venters breaks in with the Braves, and he was the setup man for Craig Kimbrell, a dominant back end of the bullpen. Used him a lot. Second in the league in appearances between 2010 and 11. And Venters admits now that he had a bad habit of using way too many warm-up pitches as well. Ball 1 on Dietrich. So the pain came back 2012. Pitched through the pain in the elbow. Spring training 2013, the elbow gives out again, and he has to go through his second Tommy John surgery. Typical recovery about 15 months before you're thrown to live hitters again. That's right about where Venters was. 15 months later, live batting practice. 7th pitch that he throws, his elbow gives out again.
I'm just thinking about a lot of times for Tommy John surgery, they take that tendon near your wrist.
Yeah.
And they use that. What do you do for the 3rd one?
Yes, it's a great question. 2-1 on Dietrich, and they actually had to go in for a 4th surgery after that. Technically wasn't Tommy John, but another elbow procedure. And here he is about to make Major League history.
I wonder if that 4th one was to clean up some scar tissue that probably built up after 3 Tommy John surgeries.
Would imagine there's plenty of it in there. Dietrich pops it to left. Jock Peterson is there. Daniel Hudson has retired the first 5 that he's faced as a Dodger.
But either way, good for him to make it back to the big leagues.
Awesome,
That's awesome.
He has 2 sons now that are 6 and 4. One of them wasn't born yet. The other one had just been born the last time he pitched in the majors. They're both playing baseball now. Both starting to think that it's cool that dad's a baseball player.
That is really cool.
And that's been his biggest motivation, trying to get back to a big league mound so his kids can see him.
That just gave me chills. That's awesome. Good for him.
2 out for Real Muto. Hudson pitches low for ball 1. Ball on a strike. You mentioned the tendon taken out of the wrist. Dr. Frank Jobe, who came up with the Tommy John surgery, got the idea thinking about a procedure for polio patients where they take the tendon out of the wrist, put it in polio patients' ankles, and figured that the same thing might work on the elbow. And Tommy John told him, figure something out.
And he did. You can only imagine the number of pitchers who are thanking him for it.
Tommy John missed 1975 after the surgery, really 2 surgeries before he got it right. Came back the next year and finished 2nd in Cy Young voting. On the corner, strike 2. Went on to pitch another 2,500 innings without missing a single start because of arm problems. Tommy John. Hudson lets the 2-2 fly, and Real Muto takes it for ball 3. Have you read the book The Arm by Jeff Passan?
No, I haven't had a chance.
That chronicles Daniel Hudson's 2 returns from Tommy John.
Wow.
Really intimate look at everything that he went through. Here's his 3-2. Real Muto hammers the ball to left center field. That thing's way back there and gone. Second home run in as many nights for Real Muto, and the lead is 4-0.
Real Muto just increased his streak against the Dodgers to 19 games. And we were talking about there were times he came up with opportunities of being so far this early season, seems like the most dangerous hitter in that Marlins lineup, and this is why. Not only coming in batting .400, and also has the power to take it out to all parts of the field.
With 2 out, Starlin Castro. Real Muto, who a year ago hit a career high 17, already has 3 in his first week. But if the Marlins decide to continue to tear it down even further, and why wouldn't you at this point? They're a long way away from competing. JT Real Muto would bring quite a return. Still a couple years before he reaches free agency. Castro with a base hit to left center. Peterson trying to cut it off. He does, but in front of the track, and Castro has a 2-out double.
Third baseman number 15, Brian Anderson.
Derek Jeter, by the way, is here tonight. Came out and looking at the Major League Baseball urban facility in, I believe, in Compton here in Los Angeles. Has plans of trying to build one of those in Miami. And here taken in the final game of this series.
few games so far to have something to smile about as he's watching these Marlin teams beat up on the Dodgers right now. And not only that, having the lead when they have their ace Clayton Kershaw on the mound.
Cleanup man Brian Anderson, 1 for 2 with the single and a walk. Grandal able to keep it in the neighborhood. Castro hangs on at second. That's Liberatore. Inside corner, strike 2. The rookie Brian Anderson takes by the hands, and the count goes to 2-2. Got him. But the Marlins get one, and a home run from JT Realmuto to the bottom of the 6th. That's 4-0. Dodgers trying to come from behind in this one. They've got Seager, Grandal, and Bellinger coming up here in the 6th inning. Marlins with a 3-run shot from Miguel Rojas against Kershaw in the 5th, and a solo shot from Realmuto on the top of this inning. Seager happy to have Trevor Richards out of there, who twice got him on a changeup. Randy Gonzalez. Delivers a first pitch fastball for a strike. You know about Corey Seager being from a baseball family, 2 baseball playing brothers. As you might imagine, both of his parents really good athletes themselves. Almost gets hit by that one, 1-1. His mom Jody was a 3-sport athlete in high school. Volleyball, softball. She ran track. Years of co-ed softball afterwards. Years as a PE teacher. Now working with special needs students in North Carolina. And his dad Jeff played some college baseball. Fairleigh Dickinson in New Jersey. Was a really good player that just happened to deal with some injuries before his career could really take off. And coached all the boys in their younger years. Two balls, 2 strikes.
They'll all say they got it from mom.
Farming thing they got from dad. That was in his family's in upstate New York. And so it doesn't seem like that really adds up because dad works at a bank, but that's kind of in his blood, the farming. Something that he grew up doing, and his family lived on a farm and still does, just outside of Charlotte. Seager slashes one foul, and it's still 2-2. Corey's job, they had different animals. They had pigs, they had chickens, some cows. Corey's job was to clean out the stables. Youngest of the bunch got the worst job, I guess.
I think the brothers are going to go, listen, you want that job? They're like, oh, glad you came. Here you go.
He's worked the count full.
Now I wonder when they go back who cleans them out. He probably still does.
Right. He's still the youngest.
Exactly.
My math is correct.
Once again, and those are the ones that you go back and the hitter. We've been talking about Corey Seager. Off once again, foul ball, hittable pitches. You know, it's still 3-2 count. Still very hittable pitches that he ends up fouling off.
Next pitch will be the 10th. Trying to pay it off against Mirandi Gonzalez. Here it comes. He starts the inning with a well-earned walk.
Good job by Corey, despite missing some pitches that I'm sure he'd go back feeling like, gosh, I should have driven those pitches. Still able to manage the walk, especially leadoff walk. Now trying to get something. Dodger offense trying to find some life in it.
So Grandal, 1 on, nobody out. Gonzalez pitches, and Grandal takes it down the middle for a strike. Dodgers as a team on this homestand hitting just above 180. Of course, part of that is early on. They face Scherzer and then Strasburg. But a lineup of pitchers in this Miami series that you would expect a good offense to hit hasn't been the case, as they've managed only 4 runs through these 3 games. That falls over the corner, 1-2.
Well, if you look at the numbers, you know, the Marlins came in with the 3rd most hits allowed in the NL, averaging 8.62 hits per game allowed. And the Dodgers just 12 hits in about 2.5 games. Not been able to figure it out.
Still time though. 2-2 on Grandal. He's got one of the 4 walks today. The only hit for the Dodgers in this game, if you happen to just be joining us, came from Clayton Kershaw on the 9th pitch that he saw against Trevor Richards back in the 3rd. after the Seager walk. Yasmani Grandal pops one up down the right field line. Castro angling out. He's got it for the first out.
First baseman, Cody Bellinger.
We're talking about the lack of run support that Clayton Kershaw has had from the Dodger offense. And once again, not getting any run support. That 11-game road trip is one of those times you joke with the pitcher, you might want to take the offense out to dinner. Just remind him, hey, if I take you out, can you score some runs for me?
Right. Bellinger struck out both times today. If a pitcher were to try and talk you into getting him some support, where would he take you to as a player?
Take me out?
Yeah.
Like dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, nice steakhouse.
Yeah.
And, and they let me pick the wine.
Nice. That's a painful bill. I didn't know because I know the post-game meal for you was pizza and fries.
No, that's when it's not when I could sit down and have dinner.
But that was a pretty consistent thing.
That was after dinner.
Oh. That was the late night dinner number 2.
That was a snack.
Fourth meal. On a 1-1 pitch, Cody Bellinger swings and misses 1 and 2. Cody did a lot of eating in the offseason, part of his bulking, a lot of weightlifting as well. A whole lot bigger than he was as a rookie, and especially towards the end of his rookie season. First long major league season grind for him. He really wore down and had a hard time keeping that weight on. $215 pounds coming into this season. He had finished last year under 200. And at 6'4", that's pretty slim. £215. That's 45 pounds heavier than when he was drafted to high school, 2013. Takes low and inside, and the count evens at 2-2. Part of that's just your body develops, and that 6'4" frame of his filled out. But part of it's been a concerted effort to get bigger. Full count. We said your favorite, and you didn't really look at it as a cheat meal, the pizza and fries. That was your favorite kind of guilty pleasure, right along with the milkshakes. Cody's McDonald's Big Mac. How's that as a cheat day meal? Seager at first with 1 out. Here comes a 3-2 pitch from Gonzalez. Bellinger hits a base hit to right.
All you had to do was talk about Big Macs.
Yep.
There it is.
And he got one.
Yes. You can really tell that they're grinding it, not just from, but the relief after he gets that base hit when he gets to first base. You can really see it on Cody's face, like finally got one. Him, like the rest of this lineup, really been struggling. I mean, Cody coming into this game, in his last 5 games, he's batting .125 with 7 strikeouts in his last 5 games. Already had a couple of strikeouts in his first 2 at-bats. So getting that base hit, you're like, finally. Don't you see that look? Yes, there it is. Thank you. A lot of times I would go back and jokingly, can you just get that ball for me? Just get the ball. You know, put that one up on my mantle. Well, thank you. Finally got a hit, because there were times where when you're struggling, you feel like you may never get another hit.
That reaction we saw from him at first base, kind of the same reaction the crowd had. And I'm sure it's a similar reaction a lot of you sitting at home had too.
It's interesting about the offensive day the Dodgers are having. This is just the second at-bat they're having with a runner in scoring position in today's game.
It's the right guy to have it. Matt Kemp hitting above 400 in these situations this year. Could change the game with one swing. Here comes Gonzalez to Kemp. Floats in there at 72 for a strike.
You made a good point that he can change the game with one swing, but the key is not to worry about that one swing. Just keep it moving right now. Try to see if you can string some hits together as a team. They always say about hitting being contagious. You want to get that feeling back into that dugout.
Peterson due next. 2 on with 1 out. And a 4-0 game. And then he chases, and it's 0-2.
I'm just talking about that, you know. Then you, that's the reason why I was saying that you have to remind yourself as a player, and it's hard to do, especially we all notice that your team is struggling to score runs. You know you're swinging the bat well, going, gosh, we have a tendency to go out of your zone to try to do too much. Just got to remind yourself, get back in it, and just get a base hit.
0-2. Lifted in the air to left field. Dietrich started on at first, now goes back and makes the catch on the warning track. 2 out.
Left field, Josh Peterson.
And here comes Peterson.
And Dietrich kind of dekes you out there. I mean, when he hit that, I thought Matt Kemp hit that pretty well. And when Dietrich first started in, we're like, what? Did he? Sounded good, and then you should notice when he had to go back, like, oh yeah, it was definitely carrying.
Well, like Cody Bellinger before his base hit, Jock Peterson 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, trying to follow Bellinger and getting some relief. Dodgers looking for their first run of the afternoon, down 4-0 in the 6th inning. Gonzalez delivers, and Peterson swings out of his shoes and misses. Strike 1.
Looked like Jock had stayed back long enough for that one. Breaking ball, watch. There, down. Just kind of waited just a little bit. Almost like he saw it and maybe got a little bit too big and just missed it.
On the corner, strike 2.
And pitch cast showing that again, and showing that it may have cut the corner.
One and 2. Just off of the plate this time. Count evens 2-2. All the runs in this game have come off homers. Rojas with a 3-run shot. Real Muto with a solo shot. 2 on, 2 out. 2-2 pitch. Peterson corks a base hit to right. Seager gets the wave. Maben up with a throw. It's cut off by Bull, and the Dodgers have broken through with a 2-out RBI single from Jock Peterson.
Well, he did take a page out of Cody Bellinger's book. You mentioned about it. Both he and Bellinger struck out the first 2 times. Bellinger comes up. It gets a nice solid line drive to right field, and Jock Peterson comes through with a big RBI right there. And now the Dodgers have to keep it going.
They get the tying run to the plate here in the form of Chase Utley. Chase has one of the 4 Dodger walks on the afternoon. Utley shows bunt and takes a strike. Randy Gonzalez, a starter for much of his minor league career, and was a starter in Jacksonville. So not a huge surprise to see him nearing 40 pitches and still nobody warming in that Marlins bullpen. Drops in back-to-back breaking balls to get ahead of Utley 0-2.
The first one on the Utley, he looked like he was squaring around. Utley does that quite often, especially early on. Just try to see the pitch, and even if it comes out, he'll stay there, get hit by it. So he wasn't thinking about it. He wasn't going to bunt, but kind of does that to see if he can get a ball, take a look, and then that one catches the corner.
Now the 0-2. Wraps inside, almost hit him. 1-2. Like it has 200 times in his major league career, 8th most all time. First and third, 2 gone. Dodgers with 1 in the bank here in the 6th. Utley with a check swing foul. Flipping down into that dugout. Another 1-2. Grounded softly to first. Bohr will take it to the bag, and the Dodgers settle for 1. But they do finally get on the board to the late innings. The sun setting over a 4-1 game. Mercedes-Benz. Hyunjin Ryu, how good has he been the last few times out against Derek Holland? Ryu, the last 3 starts, he's been the best Dodger starter.
He really has. He has looked great. Looks back when he first came in with the Dodgers. Looks healthy, looks strong. Tackling hitters.
Adam Liberatore will handle the 7th for the Dodgers. 4th appearance since his call-up about a week ago. Justin Bour takes one high. Bour looks like the kind of guy that would take a break during a home run derby to eat donuts. Which he did.
Yes.
I say that endearingly.
Yeah.
He's a likable player. And Miami's going to wrap its arms around him, especially with the exodus of their more familiar and franchise type players. He's kind of the guy now. 2-1.
Oh, and he can hit him a long way.
Sure can. You know, he hit 22 home runs in the first round of that home run derby and got eliminated because Aaron Judge hit 23.
Yeah.
Three and one.
Thanks for coming. Great effort. Put on a show, but that's what it's about. He put on a show.
Sure did.
And had a donut.
Did that too. It's a leadoff walk. Judge's Yankees, by the way, 13-9, and Aaron Judge has been really good. Giancarlo Stanton, though, not so much, only hitting .213 right now. That was Liberatore's one batter. Dave Roberts back into the bullpen in a 4-1 game. Spring training from the Minnesota Twins. Enters a 4-1 game with the leadoff man on, and Cameron Maben coming up. Maben from the same hometown as the home plate umpire, Joe West. Both those guys out of Asheville, North Carolina. One of them 65, one of them 31. Strike one.
JT Chargois trying to get that ground ball, possible double play here. I mean, after you score some runs like the Dodgers did that last inning, you really look to see if you can have that quick inning, the very next one, to get those guys back in the dugout. And that won't help.
Forward of second on a wild pitch. Cameron Maben debuted in 2007. He was the youngest player in the league. He just turned 20 years old. Got his first hit against Roger Clemens. Next time up, first career home run against Roger Clemens. Third time up against Roger Clemens, got hit by a fastball. Here he strikes out swinging for the first out of the 7th.
Not surprising.
Here comes Miguel Rojas, and we take a look at our top tier play of the game, brought to you by Arco. His 3-run home run to open the scoring against Kershaw in the 5th.
Arco top tier play. Clayton Kershaw, we knew even at that time, just didn't have it. A high walk today, given up and missed his spot once again, and Rojas made him pay.
It's Miguel's 5th season as a big leaguer. Each of the first 4 years he hit exactly 1 home run. It's his 3rd this year. He credits the turnaround with, for the first time, playing winter ball in his native Venezuela. Said the extra at-bats that he got over the winter were key. It's not often you're answering questions about a power surge after your 2nd home run. Ball and a strike. One rides inside. Rojas able to lay off, and Chagua falls behind 2-1. JT Chagua, guy that was drafted in 2012, but even though that's 6 years ago, he's only pitched 2.5 pro seasons. Half of that first year, and then 15 and 16. Rojas punches one on the ground is short. Corey Seager will throw him out. 2 away. Chagua missed all of 2013 trying to rehab an injured elbow, but ultimately had to undergo Tommy John. Missed all of 2014 as well. 15 was spent in the minors. Finally debuted in the bigs in 16, but spent part of that season as well in the minors. And then last year, 2 games in AAA as the closer in the Twin system before he had a stress reaction in his elbow, and it caused him to miss the rest of the year. And so he was at a point where he was wondering if he was ever going to be able to come back, and had some conversations with his family like, hey, is this it? Should we just hang it up at this point? Delivers to Gonzalez, who takes a strike. They decided to stick with it. The Dodgers are glad he did, and glad that the Twins tried to sneak him off of the 40-man roster. Almost made it through waivers without getting claimed. 0-2.
Dodgers said, wait a minute. I've seen that arm. Seen the movement on his pitches. We can use that.
Is 0-2. Gonzalez pokes it foul. The way that works, if you're unfamiliar with it, when a player is removed from the 40-man roster, every other team in baseball has the option of claiming them, and the priority level goes based on your record from the year before. So similar to the draft order, team with the worst record has the first option to get him. So the Dodgers were second to last in line, and he fell all the way to them. It's amazing when you see some teams struggling out of the bullpen the way that they are. I think of the Giants early on. Dodgers saw them a bunch. Giants passed on JT Chargois. That's not picking on the Giants. I mean, 28 other teams passed on JT Chargois.
Well, that's why you say sometimes there's teams that try to sneak you by waivers.
Mm-hmm. He gets Gonzalez swinging and works a scoreless 7. We stretch at Dodger Stadium in a 4-1 game on a Wednesday afternoon, turning into a Wednesday night.
That starts at 4. Then the 1988 World Series team will be reunited before the Dodgers host the Reds at 6:10. If you're one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance, you'll also receive a 60th anniversary cap. It's all part of Alumni Weekend presented by Security Benefit. Visit Dodgers.com/alumni game.
We're going to see number 5 playing in that game?
I don't know. I may not be able to make it that day for the alumni game, so we'll see. I got to have some scheduling conflicts. We'll see if I might be able to maneuver the schedule. But so I'd say the body's already aching now thinking about it.
I know we're going to see 55. Bulldog will be pitching in it. Randy Gonzalez, his third inning out there, begins with Kike Hernandez. He misses badly with ball 1. Dodgers got their lone run of the game last inning on a 2-out base hit from Jock Peterson. Try to rally from behind and win this series. It's going to reach the seats 1-1. I don't know if enough has been talked about with all that Kike Hernandez has done for the Hurricane Maria relief efforts in his home in Puerto Rico. He and his fiancee Mariana have raised more than $200,000 in relief. It's inside and it's 2-1. And of course Mark Walter and the Dodgers putting forth millions in support of the folks in Puerto Rico. You know, Kike had just been home for his grandfather's funeral before the hurricane hit. Flew back the day before hurricane hit the island. And went a couple days without contact with his family. For a while, the only way that he was in contact with them was they would drive to one spot on the island where they knew they would have service. Fly ball into short center field where Maben comes charging on, finds it for the first out. Stuff like that puts a 4-1 deficit in the baseball game into perspective. Scott Alexander loosening for the 8th. Max Muncy to pinch hit. Strike one. Ground ball to first, Justin Boyd. Alrighty, Gonzalez quite an effort here. In relief of Trevor Richards, and only his 3rd major league appearance. Heck, for Richards, it was only his 6th or his 5th. Together, they've held the Dodgers to a run on 3 singles: Kershaw, Bellinger, Peterson. And in this series, this pitching staff has held the Dodgers to 5 runs over 3 games.
And counting today. Just 15 hits, that's it.
Oh, 1 to Taylor. Stroked in the air to center, but got under it. Dodgers down in order in the 7th. Along to the 8th we go. Marlins 4, Dodgers 1. Access Sportsnet Dodgers presented by your Southern California Ford dealers.
All right, thanks, Joe. Kind of a strange game tonight. Clayton Kershaw ties a career high with 6 walks, and the offense still struggling against one of the worst pitching staffs in all of baseball. After the game, Ned and Jerry will break it down, and we will hear from Clayton Kershaw.
All right, guys. Scott Alexander on the pitch for the first time in 8 days. Has been putting in a lot of work to try and get that sinker right here in his first season with the Dodgers. JB Shuck, 9-1-2 for the Marlins. And he gets a swing and a miss, strike one. I know you were talking about you'd heard sinker ballers during your career using basically just having the catcher setting the glove in the middle of the zone and saying throw it at the glove, let it do its work, and having that fix them. That's lined into center, base hit.
Yeah, I remember Brandon Webb. One of the catchers for Brandon Webb talked about. He goes, finally, he was early on. He would be struggling. He'd be trying to pinpoint. He knew he had a lot of movement on his sinker, and finally said, "I'm not even going to worry. I'm not even going to give you a target on the corners. I'm just going to set my glove and not even move it. You throw it at the glove. I'm setting it right down the middle." And man, he had a lot of movement, a lot of sink on his fastball.
Top of the order, Derek Dietrich stabs at it. Strike one.
My shin didn't like it.
No? How many times did he get you?
He just it got to the point that I come up and I'm like, I look at the shortstop and I was like, "Are you ready? Because I'm sure I'm going to roll over to you." There it was again. I think I finally got one hit off him, and I was like, and I knew it that day. I'm like, today's the day.
0-2. Brandon Webb. His name popped up on a list I couldn't believe the other day. We talk about ERA plus sometimes, which allows you to compare pitchers across generations. Brandon Webb by ERA plus is tied for 12th all time. Big part of that is because he didn't have his decline. The shoulder injury happened and he just kind of never pitched again. Ground ball to first, could be two. There's one. Back to first. In time, a double play. 3-6-3 wipes him clear.
There's one there where everybody has to wait. Going to check. And they're going to check it again. As we have another look. Good job by Cody Bellinger. Whew, that was close. Is enough there to overturn it, Joe? I think they might.
Just barely, maybe. Yeah. Joe West, old college football quarterback, Joe West. At Elon in North Carolina. Only two umpires in baseball history have umpired more games than him. In his 40 years in the majors. Actually have a verdict pretty quick. He's safe. So they overturn the call and they wind up just getting one out. Dietrich aboard on the fielder's choice. Only two guys that have umpired more regular season games than Joe West. Bruce Fleming, number 2 on that list. And the guy that's number 1 is named Bill Clem, who was an umpire in the major leagues from 1903 to 1941. Real Muto with 1 on and 1 out. Now, there was a time when there were umpires that would exclusively work the plate, and Clem was the very last guy that had that honor, or that responsibility, I guess.
I remember Bruce Fleming. Bruce, one of his calls was almost like a karate chop.
Yeah.
When he'd call you out. And I remember one game before the game, he's at home plate, you know, and he always had an infectious smile, Bruce. Mo Vaughn yelling at him, "Hey Bruce, you are not gonna karate chop me today. You are not gonna do it." Just messing with him, and he just starts laughing at Mo.
Ball on a strike. Funny you mentioned the hand signals. Bill Clem is credited with being the first umpire to use hand signals. Used to just be verbal.
Wow.
Also one of the first guys to wear a chest protector under the shirt.
There's always that big chest protector right in front.
Joe West's been umpiring in the majors since 1976. Real Muto sends one to deep left field. He's done it again. Second of the game, third of the series for Real Muto, and it's 6-1.
Number 13, Starlin Castro.
On the play before, you see Dietrich hustling down the line to stay out of that double play. Helps when you have a guy like Real Muto also hitting behind you that can possibly knock you in just from first base. Exactly what he does. We talked about it. You can't make a mistake, the Real Muto. Coming into this game early on, Joe, really like his swing. He has some quick, powerful arms.
Castro, strike one. Some peer pressure out there. She didn't want to throw it back. Or maybe she did and it was her friend that was trying to stop her. I had you, she said.
They were all on me. Everybody was yelling at me. She's like, now what do
Yeah, well, do I get
a
it back?
souvenir, right? That's so they can sign it and throw it back to me?
Real Muto now 4 home runs in 7 games on this young season for him. Castro, meanwhile, who's at the plate now, sitting on 99 home runs for his career. Starlin from Monte Cristi, Dominican Republic, small fishing town. Started playing baseball there when he was 7 years old. Played for 5 years without his own glove, though. So when he was 12, it was an American family vacationing in the Dominican, and they gave it to him as a gift. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Said he didn't sleep for days. He was so excited. He had his own glove. Used that glove to take ground balls all day till the sun would go down. Drops it softly to third. Hernandez barehands and throws wide. Castro to second. Likely be a hit and an error.
Number 15, Brian Anderson.
The only play that Kike had was to barehand this ball. We've seen some unbelievable defensive plays in this series by Kike Hernandez. Did a good job getting to it. Just unfortunate on the execution.
So runner at second with one out for Brian Anderson. Did you ever have to give away any memorabilia to get back, like a milestone home run, or get back any souvenir that you wanted?
I did my my very first hit.
Really?
My first hit was a home run, so I had to exchange some memorabilia. It was really nice too, because the veterans on the club too. Because you're a rookie, nobody knows who you are. And some of the veterans were going, listen here, if you need one of my bats, or would also offer, if the fan wanted anything of theirs, they were offering that too, like Mo and Val and all these guys were great. Said, hey, so I forgot to get batting gloves and stuff that I ended up giving. I can't remember everything I exchanged to get that ball back, but it was really, I really appreciated the fan giving that back. It was really nice of him to give that back.
Did he demand?
No, he wasn't like that. You know, it's funny. I've seen that. I've also been on teams. I've been on teams where the fan was demanding so much, was demanding cash and all of this stuff, and the player never got it back. Just said, forget it.
Strike three caught on Anderson, 2 out.
And that was unfortunate. So, but he didn't demand anything. It was more, we gave it to him, and he was so nice and appreciative, and he was very nice to give it back to me.
Who is the guy in New York? Not was, who is? There's a ball hawker there, I think, that he caught.
I can't remember.
He caught a landmark home run a few years back. I don't know if it was Jeter or A-Rod. But he wound up getting like season tickets out of it. And he really held it over the player's head until the Yankees and this player gave up a bunch. Here's a 1-0. Justin Bohr takes a strike on the corner, 1-1. Zach Hampel was the guy's name. A-Rod's 3,000th hit was a home run. And instead of any kind of memorabilia or anything like that, Hampel actually had them donate $150,000 to charity before he gave the ball back. So at least he put it.
Went to charity.
Yeah. It's being difficult, but I guess his head was in the right place. 2-2. Went to a charity called Pitch In for Baseball. It gives lightly used equipment to kids around the world that want to play baseball or softball but can't afford gear. And the Zach Hampel was going to get memorabilia and tickets. Lost his bat, and the inning is over as he swings and misses for strike three. They get 2 more on another Real Muto home run, and it's 6-1 to the bottom of the 8th. Dodgers Stadium, where it is 6-1 Miami, the bottom of the 8th inning. If you've never done it, you've got to take a tour of Dodger Stadium. Down in the bowels of the stadium there on the walk to the clubhouses. All the Gold Gloves and the Silver Sluggers and the MVPs and the Cy Youngs. And it's a wonderful tour of the history of this organization. Randy Gonzalez with a nice play on a tapper from Seager for the first out. And a lot of the players and Dave Roberts and the coaches will tell you how great of a reminder it is what it means to be a Dodger, getting off the elevator and walking through all that every day.
And they're exactly right. It really does. It really leaves an impression. And you often hear from even guys who are new to the ball club for the very first time checking it out. And even visiting players, they have to come through the same elevator, going to the locker room. They get to see that as well. But to see it on a daily basis as a reminder is really cool.
Yeah, you'll see every now and then a opposing player with his phone out, snapping pictures. Randall pops it foul, and it's 0-2. Osmani with a walk, but he's 0 for 2. Looking for his first hit of this series.
Osmani had his 11-game hit streak broken in this series, beginning of this series. When you have that, when you're feeling good, you're like, okay, it's over. You recognize, like, all right, I had a nice one, but just trying to get that feeling again. You're like, now it's time to start a new streak.
Hits this ball in the air to right. Got it off the end of the bat some and hooked it to Shuck for the second out.
First baseman number 35, Cody Bellinger.
Now, barring a comeback, the Dodgers would fall back to a game below 500, which again is where they were when Cody Bellinger was called up a year ago. And proceeded to go 95-47 from that point. Takes a change for a ball. Felt like we're kind of coming out of that narrative of talking about slow starts, which have been nothing new for this organization, even during these division title runs. But if they can't erase this 6-1 deficit late, kind of back into that being the headline about the team. Going into the longest road trip of the year.
Yeah, this really looks like the way their offense was early in the season. Talking about not clicking, not gelling. Everybody out of sync. I'm just counting right now. There's only been five outs by the Dodgers this game where it was hit on the ground. Everything else had been a fly ball or a strikeout. Been in the air.
Bellinger beats the shift, banging one to left, hustling out of the box. He'll challenge Dietrich into second with a double. Never a question in his mind where he was going to wind up.
And that's good for Cody Bellinger. Not only just for the simple fact that getting a hit, but also going the other way with that. Early on, one of the adjustments Cody Bellinger is going to have to recognize is, he has a lot of power. He's in the middle of that lineup. You're going to be challenged away a lot because they're going to force you to see if you have power the other way, or they're just going to try to stay away your strength, which is pulling the ball out of the ballpark. So go ahead and get your hits. You don't always have to drive the ball out of the park, even the other way. Get your hits, and you actually will eventually bring them into your power spot. Once you start showing you can handle the bat and doing that.
With 2 gone, it's Kemp. Strike 1. Randy Gonzalez came out in the 5th inning. There he is trying to get through the 8th. His 0-1 pitch. Two on one. Dodgers open a series with the Giants on Friday in San Francisco. Giants today lost to the Nationals 15-2. They had won 3 in a row before today. A 2-1. Kemp crushes it to center field. Maben back on it. That thing's gone. Kemp with his 4th of the season, and it's 6-3.
Wanting that ball away. He missed his spot up in the zone, but still where he missed it was on the top part, maybe a little bit air out of the zone. But Matt Kemp doing an excellent job, able to get that barrel to the ball at the top of the zone and drive it to center field.
Couple things he's been doing this year that he wasn't last year. That is elevating the ball and using the middle of the field. Shows both on that one swing. Suddenly the Real Muto home run against Alexander looks gigantic. It would have been 4-3. Instead 6-3 and still work to do.
And not only that home run, but also how about the fact that Dietrich hustling to stay out of the double play to give an extra run after making that home run be a 2-run home run.
Junichi Tozawa. Two gone, and it's Peterson. Change for a strike.
We're talking about Matt Kemp, about him lifting the ball, staying in the center field. I think early in his career, he was the first year with the Dodgers. I mean, his power to right center in the center field. I mean, that was his. He knew that's where he could really drive the ball and stay there. And then there are times where, over time, you start pulling off of that a little bit more because they start throwing you more off-speed pitches. So you have a tendency to pull those rather than staying that way. But it's good to see him back over there driving it to center field.
Peterson with his 2nd base hit.
The second one, we talked about his last one. He was like taking the page out of Cody Bellinger with a line drive to right field. This one, he hits it hard, just hits it on the ground, but finds a hole. Keeping it moving.
And Don Mattingly going to go to Tozawa here. So a 2-run home run from Kemp. Solid base hit from Peterson. And a double switch coming here. Ronnie Gonzalez is finished. If Utley can reach, Dodgers would get the tying run to the plate here in the 8th inning. And what has become the longest 9-inning game of the season already. Pitching change here in the 8th, 6-3. this season, and he's had a rough go of it so far, giving up 10 runs in 11 innings.
A lot of it for Tazawa has really been the command for him. The reason why he's been giving up those runs. And for the Dodgers, at this stage, it's really about anybody coming out of the bullpen. It's really right now just passing the baton, trying to get something going. Obviously, they've already done that with the double and the home run. Good job by Jock Peterson getting that single. This is the one where they always say just keep passing the baton. See if they can come back here.
And if Utley can pass it to Hernandez, he'd come up representing the tying run. Starting to see that theme emerge from earlier on this homestand, the two-strike hitting. 4 of the last 5 hits for the Dodgers have come with 2 strikes. Utley 0 for 2 today with a walk. Tazawa deals, and Utley watches a curve coast in there at 73 for strike 1. Back-to-back curves, back-to-back strikes. Oh, 2. Paints a fastball and gets Utley in short order. Couple of curves and then a fastball to the outside corner, but they cut it to 3 on a home run from Kemp. To the 9th we go. Davis, Nomar Garciaparra, Alana Rizzo, and Kenley going to try and keep it right here and give the Dodgers a fighting chance in the bottom of the 9th.
And I know a lot of people probably seeing Kenley in here in this game right now are wondering why wasn't he in yesterday's game. And Dave Roberts was great at answering that question. What I mean by that was quite awesome. He's like, listen, that is my fault. That was the decision. That was all me. Made a mistake. One of the reasons he chose to go with Pedro Baez at the time was he had 3 guys down in the bullpen that weren't available, and he had already had Pedro Baez up. That would have been the 2nd time, and once he gets him up twice, he doesn't bring him back in the game, doesn't get him up for a 3rd time. So he says, I made the decision, went against the book, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, so he would have been down 4 relievers already. Field, Chagua, and Stripling were down for last night. Jansen misses for the first one to Maben. And at that point, it was a tie game. You're looking at potentially having to get many innings out of the bullpen. We've seen already some long games this season. So Dave Roberts went with Baez.
And the book says when you're at home,
yep,
and in a tie game in the 9th, you bring in your closer.
Here's his 1-1, and Maben takes it low and away, ball 2. Jansen back-to-back scoreless outings against Washington. Although still yet to quite really look like himself. Gets a strike there, 2-2.
Well, there's just been maybe a couple of outings where you see, okay, there's the Jansen where you see glimpses of it.
Yeah.
And I thought one of those times was against Washington when he ended up closing that game out. Coming in, he had some really good velocity, not only in the fastball, but also that late break, that late sharp break of the cutter. Wasn't, well, we've seen him get in trouble where that cutter has a tendency to just kind of back up. It looks like just a cement mixer and doesn't break.
Kenley debuted in the majors 2010. Ninth major league season, all with the Dodgers. 2-2 to Maben. Stays alive. Around that same time that Kenley made his major league debut, his family back in Curacao was struggling to make ends meet financially. His father, just before that, had suffered a stroke. That led to the loss of his construction company that he was running. Used the money that he had left to defend a business-related lawsuit. And so Kenley wired his first per diem checks to his family. It's a pop fly to left field. Long run for Jack Peterson. He's under it for the first out. Just so the family had money for food. And then later that summer, when he started getting the full big league paychecks, he would send those too.
Baseman number 19, Miguel Rojas.
It's an article in LA Times last fall. Kevin Baxter wrote a great article that dives deep into who Kenley is and his upbringing in Curacao. One out for Rojas. In on the hands. That's what the cutter does when it's right. Seager throws wide.
And I wonder the way the ball hopped off the mound, if it messed up Seager's rhythm that caused that throw. Watch this ball right here. You go into your left, and then all of a sudden you just have to readjust your feet. And the way he ended up having to field that. Oftentimes when Seager's going to go to charge that ball, he's one-handed, where that one hand is out there, but the way it kicked, it ended up going back to his right side, so he kind of had to use both hands and throw off the run. I mean, he'll still tell you he should have made that play and made that a good throw. But all it takes is that little bounce or that little kick that can take you out of your rhythm.
Second error of the night on the Dodgers, both throwing errors. Gadiel Rivera hits here, looking at ball 1. It's amazing to think about all the major leaguers that have come out of Curacao, and then consider that there are only 160,000 people in the country.
Yeah, man, you need to tell that amazing story about Kenley. And sometimes you just forget you see these guys in big leagues and you don't realize, you know, there's also these life experiences and life goes on and struggles and things you have to do as well. And then we also hear today we had a guy who's starting an independent league coming up here and shut down the Dodgers.
Yeah, easy to forget they're people before they're players.
Yep.
The number 74 Kenley wears, that's in honor of his roots. 74 was the street address of the little brown house that he grew up in Curacao. It's a swing and a miss, 1-2. Kenley used to spend hours firing a tennis ball off of the concrete wall in front of his house. First field that he had, empty dirt lot across the street from that house. It's a strikeout here, 2 away.
That's the cutter from Kinley. It's interesting, yeah. That's the spot, but actually that also that high fastball. There are times he throws that intentionally, and when he has command of that in the high strike zone with that cutter, oh, you get a lot of exactly what you saw right there: swings and misses.
Here's JB's shot. And a pop fly into short left. Seager's out, slips and falls. And you hope at this point that he gets up and is just okay. As it falls in for a hit. But you hold your breath more than anything to make sure that he's feeling okay.
And he goes back on it. And as he goes back, he realized he was going too far, and then he knows he has to come in, and oh, gosh. When you slip like that, you're going, okay, it can be any part of that body the way that looked to me. It could have been the left ankle, the left knee, the groin, the right groin. Staying in there.
Dave Roberts and the trainer Nate Lucero head back to the dugout, so that's a good sign. Obviously there'll be questions to Corey after the game, what exactly he was feeling on that. Hopefully we've forgotten about it by Friday. Gives Derek Dietrich an opportunity here to widen that lead again for Miami. First and third, 2 out. The Jansen's look better here. Hunter takes off on ball 1.
Kenley right now, I know that one was ruled a base hit. But realistically, he hasn't given up a base hit in this inning.
No, right.
Or a walk. You have 2 guys on.
Breaks a bat and a roller to second. Chase Utley gobbles it up and throws it wide at first. 2 runs going to come in to score. And the Marlins crack it back open at 8-3. Without the benefit of a hit in this, or a real hit in this inning, 2 throwing errors and the stumble from Corey Seager allowed the Marlins to get 2 back.
Chase Utley did everything right as far as getting to that ball and getting it on the left side to throw that ball off the run. Just when he released it, just threw it away. Kenley really just has to battle with himself, knowing that he is throwing the ball well right now. It's not his fault. Just keep doing that.
Real Muto. So 3 of the 4 infielders tonight for the Dodgers with a throwing error. Everybody but the first baseman Bellinger. Jansen's 1-0. One and 2. inside corner, strikes out Real Muto. And the line will show a couple of runs, but Kelly Jansen looked better in that outing. 8-3 to the bottom of the ninth. JT Real Muto, 2 home runs, 3 in the series. What a start he's off to in 2018.
And extending his hitting streak against the Dodgers. 19 games. First 19 career games against the Dodgers. Has a hit in every single one of them.
Brad Ziegler pitched the bottom of the 9th inning. Got the save last night. He'll face Kike Hernandez to lead the inning off. Starts the inning with a line drive that gets by Maben in center. And all the way to the wall. Hernandez will stop at third with a leadoff triple.
Positive here from the obvious reasons, from the leadoff triple, but for Kike Hernandez, just personally, good job driving that ball back up to center field, staying inside of it, and a nice line drive. Remember last time, swinging the bat, he said there was something I felt, there was something that kind of clicked and went on a nice little run. Sometimes it's bats like that, balls that you drive just like that, that can make you feel that exact same way.
Kyle Farmer pinch hitting here. And he takes low from Ziegler, ball 2. Marlins tonight 3 in the 5th and 1 in the 6th, so it was 4-0. Dodgers got one back in the 6th, making it 4-1. Then the Marlins getting 2 in the top of the 8th. On a Real Muto home run, which loomed large once Matt Kemp hit a 2-run shot of his own in the bottom of the 8th. And then 2 big ones on the 2-out air from Chase Utley in the top of the 9th. Ziegler with a 2-1, and Farmer bounces one to short that will bring home Kike Hernandez. RBI for Farmer in an 8-4 game.
Center fielder number 3, Chris Taylor.
After a game like this, if they're unable to finish off a comeback, does an off day tomorrow come at a good time, or is it like, man, you'd like to get back at it and right the ship?
No, I think it comes at a good time, but Even though the Dodgers, they've had so many off days this month, but it's not a bad time because it's really not just this game. It's something that they look back on the series.
Yeah. 1-0 on Chris Taylor. Last chance for him to extend a 7-game hitting streak. We'll face Derek Holland in the opener on Friday in San Francisco. Then in the doubleheader, Chris Stratton and Johnny Cueto. Ty Block goes on Sunday. Ball and 2 strikes. Frisbee slider for out number 2. So they'll be through a 10 games out of the 19 against the Giants. Once this weekend is over. It's before the end of April.
Yeah, when is in a couple weeks they'll play with the Washington, and then they're done with them, right?
Same with Miami. Yeah. Corey Seager takes the ball. Good to see him staying in after that awkward fall at the top of this inning. Yeah, after the 11-game road trip they're about to go on, they come home for 6 games, Arizona and Cincinnati. And then it's back to the road to face the 2 teams that they faced on this homestand. So it's a similar thing when it comes to Arizona that you're talking about, with Dodgers seeing a bunch of the Giants, a bunch of the Diamondbacks too. They've already played them 6 times. They'll have played them 10 times by the 3rd of May. They'll have played him 12 times a week later. Seager grounds a base hit to right.
Pitcher number 9, Yasmani Grandal.
So yeah, they'll have played Nomar the D-backs 12 times, the Giants 10 times before they play the Rockies once.
Yeah, that is strange. But not easy making a baseball schedule.
No, for 30 teams, all lining up.
Oh.
Seager will take second uncontested as Grandal takes the ball.
Still making some, just kind of wincing a little bit out there in faces. A good thing, especially after that fall that he had. Gets the base hit. It's really the next day you wonder if everything's okay.
Good thing it's an off day. Well, the doubleheader this weekend in San Francisco necessitated because of the bad weather. First time the Dodgers were in town. Supposed to be cool this weekend, but no rain in the forecast in San Francisco, so should be good for those 4. Famous last words, probably. You know how it goes with weather, especially when you're talking San Francisco. But high in the mid-50s. Looks like some sunshine. Two balls and a strike on Grandal. Grandal hits one to right field to send Shuck back. It's gone. 2-run shot for Grandal and a 2-run game in the 9th.
you're thinking about how big that air was in that last inning. Those 2 runs. With that swing, would have been tied. Great swing by Yasmani Grandal. Talk about his hitting streak being stopped during this series. I said, oh, guess what? You know what the good thing when hitting streaks come to an end? You get to start a new one. For Grandal, hopefully that's the start of a new one.
Strike on Bellinger. Try to keep the line moving, keep the hopes alive with Matt Kemp waiting on deck. Kemp homered last inning. That thing disappeared, and it's 0-2. As ugly as it's been today, they've kept on fighting. The 2 in the 8th and the 3 here in the 9th. Little cue shot. Ziegler bare hands, throws him out. And the Marlins have taken this series, winning back-to-back games for the first time this year and winning a series for the first time this year.
Well, that's a star right there. Real Muto coming in was the Marlins' best hitter, and he's leaving as the Marlins' best hitter. This is one that the Dodgers are going to look back in the series, had opportunities to win this series and came up short.
For Nomar, Alana, the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Dodger Stadium. We'll talk to you from San Francisco on Friday. Right now, stay tuned. Access Sportsnet Dodgers begins.